Welcome to another episode of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, Fate of Simarin, a homebrew campaign made by HellFirePvP. Let's get into some introductions and then we can do a recap of the craziness that was last episode. Starting in the top right there, we've got an avatar representing our dungeon master in the form of a mind flayer, the image of which has been allowed us to be used by Steve Sketches. You can check him out on ArtStation. But it's representing HellFirePvP.
Oh, hello. And I am your DM for today. And I'm trying to contain all the chaos.
Of which there's been way more than we need. So then straight down and to the left of him, we currently have Nerevar.
Yeah, that's me. And I'll be playing as Quilby, the charming goblin bard, ex-jester.
Mm-hmm. And then next to him, without a camera today, we have Lyssa.
Yes, that's me. I am playing Sarren. I'm a lovely Furlbog druid who is just, I don't know, she's so lost right now in the city. She doesn't know what. And she's gonna squish Quilby for not telling us what's going
on. And then next to her, we have Kashcah.
Hi, I'm playing Giya, a total barbarian.
And myself, I'm Vallen. I will be playing as Celes, an Eldritch Knight half-orc fighter with her familiar Luna, going by the quest log for what happened last time, which actually I think I've labeled today's episode as the wrong number now that I think about it. I think today's episode 8, even though it's labeled as episode 7 on Twitch, so my apologies. But anyway, last episode, we escaped the Ivory Trade building and proceeded to head back to the Broken Thorn for a night of rest after the failed attempt at being covert and undetected. During that time, Celes had a disturbing dream of a forest with a long path that led through into the dark with a light at the end and a wooden floor and bookshelves lined on either side filled with blank covered books. On one side there was a book that was separate, but all the pages were blank. She wrote her name in the book in the dream. Then she woke up to a magical book being at her side. She showed the others and told them of her dream. They experimented with the book, not knowing what to expect. All but Celes seemed to write in it for all manner of reasons. Upon feeling a little confused on it and feeling that she might write her name in the book herself, the group decided to go and get the book and other items looked at by Nellis at the Dragon's Scriptorium. Nellis offered her foci for Celes to try to identify the book herself, but came up with only a few details. Upon seeing this, Giya offered up the sword that had been found in the basement of the Ivory Trade House. It was a magical sword of thunder. The group proceeded to the docks for the day to try and see if they could identify further illegal shipments, but came up short, finding that all shipments had been halted. Sarren spied and found that the leader of the Ivory Trade Group had given the command, and the group followed to find a large portion of the Ivory Trade House had apparently burned down by some unforeseen circumstances. The group decided to try and approach the Hand headquarters, for which they are being employed, in an attempt to get more information from the apprentice, Aaron, in an after-hours location. En route, though, the group was ambushed by several assassins that were trying to kill Quilby for reasons unknown. The group attempted to capture them and question them, but they seemed too able to escape and unwilling to talk. The assassins were defeated, and Quilby seemed very hesitant to explain the reasons behind the attempt. Take it away, Hellfire.
All right. That is where we left off. And you are now in the middle of the street. Giya is dragging a bleeding body behind her. There is a very large, thick fog cloud right next to you and the group. And Quilby, what are you doing at the moment?
Currently I'm glued to the wall.
You're glued to the wall? When did that happen? Oh, you're like leaning. You're
I'm just like bracing myself at the wall, like.
Gotcha.
And seeing that Giya is dragging the remains of the rock, like it's like drop of sweat going to my cheeks. Yeah, I think I owe you a little bit of explanation.
Celes just stops, looks at you, and listens.
But maybe not now in the middle of the street.
And as you glance over, you can see as like 2 or 3 people have stopped in their track and now looking in shock and horror. As Celes still with the glaive out, a little blood dripping off of it, and Giya dragging a bleeding body out of the alleyway. There are a few gasps, and one of those people seems to have ran off back away from the scene.
Yeah, I presume we move on unless you want to discuss this matter behind our bars.
Celes just says, "Let's go."
Giya is really angry. She drags the body over to the one that's close to Celes and says, I do not like killing people, especially when I don't know why. Says we're clearly already associated with what happened here. Are you suggesting that we run and hide?
Celes says,
Yes.
"It's a fair enough request. I mean, they were trying to kill you, and we just defended you from that."
What's the point in hiding? They know that it was us. And she gestures to the people that are looking at the site.
As you're gesturing over, 2 or 3 of them are just kind of shrieking back and are seemingly a bit afraid of the situation. And yeah.
I just kind of point around. I'm like, maybe we should probably take all this elsewhere. And then discuss, because I'm sure the guards will be here soon.
Celes says, "Well, we are employed by the hand," and she kind of says that a bit louder for the rest of the group, like the people that are nearby to hear. She says, "And an unwarranted attack, obviously deems defense, but it also deems explanation. Perhaps we inform the town guard and then proceed on from there, though I fear that you're going to have to answer some questions there regardless, Quilby."
Okay, to be clear, I have no idea who those thugs were.
Well, they certainly knew who you were.
I'm just nodding my head. Yes.
Yeah, but when I came here, I did not expect it that there will be mercenaries hunting me down. It's like scratching my head.
And you're suggesting that we run and hide from this. In fact, perhaps then we should leave the city, as we're clearly and she looks and she's gesturing to the people again, and she's like, what about these witnesses? Are they
and
what you
at this
propose?
moment, from I can probably draw this. From like the left side, from behind the building, a person and 2 guards are coming over, and
Celes
they both
quickly lowers her glaive and lays it flat on the ground.
And as soon as they turn the corner, one of them instinctively draws out his sword and shouts over, "Hey, What's going on over here?
Celes
Weapons down.
puts her hands up and flat. She says, "We're part of the Hand, and we were attacked openly in the street."
And at which point he kind of lowers his sword and says, "Oh, sure." And he kind of turns to the crowd and says, "There's nothing to see here. Move on, move on. Please."
Definitely no
Please.
dead bodies.
It's under control.
And the second guard kind of like breaks off and kind of ushers the people to move on and kind of just politely moves them, so to speak. After which, some of them seem to disperse in one or the other direction. And the one guard approaches you and says, "So, you are part of us, I presume? Have any proof of this?"
She pulls out what paperwork she has for running the docks, because I think that's the only paperwork she really has. By the way, there was a.
You have one symbol
I
of
thought
the
we
hand.
had, yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
a thing, a token.
Yeah, you have a small token they give out as a proof of membership, so to speak.
Okay. Then yeah, she.
Yeah.
She
And what's this?
produced that.
All right. So what happened here?
We were traveling down the street, and these assassins decided to try and kill one of us. We merely defended him.
And he looks around and says, "All right. And this?" He gestures to like the dense cloud of fog that is just obscuring the the entire like street.
She says one of them had some kind of potion that he produced and smashed it on the ground, and this is the result. At this point, the green glow that is on her probably also fades.
That
I was hoping you'll forget.
unless you stop concentrating, was probably still there.
Oh, okay. I thought it
until
only lasted a few rounds, but
you came by.
I'll keep it on.
Well, probably in the last seconds. Right. And goes. Suppose it's not the first one. Do you have any information on who these people are or why they have attacked you, perhaps?
They didn't announce themselves if that's what you're asking, and they didn't exactly say, "Excuse me, group, we're gonna attack you because of blah blah," and I just kind of roll my eyes.
And
Yeah, they wanted me to surrender. Yet
And he turns towards Sarren and says, "Well, suppose no one introduces himself, of course. It's merely asking if you've got clues as to who these people are and why they are here."
No, we haven't exactly searched them or had the opportunity to question them.
All right. They are to be searched by the Hand. So, I presume 2 attackers?
I think there was 3, but we didn't see the 4th one or anything. So she would say 3. There's one in the cloud somewhere. And she kind of like thumbs over her shoulder at the cloud behind her.
Well, I guess someone is going to retrieve it later. All right. These are to be brought to the Office of the Hand to be examined and then I guess disposed of. And you will follow me. I guess you should bring those corpses along with you.
Okay. She proceeds to try and pick up and carry the guy that's in front of her.
Okay.
Unless they're busy searching them first, then she'll wait and then she'll.
No,
carry.
he seems to be still very observant as to who you are or what exactly had happened here, from
Mhm.
what you can glean from him.
Okay.
And it seems that he's now just following whatever he's been told to for the current situation.
Okay. By the way, as a quick note, inspiration has been granted to a 1d4 people, or one person of the 4. So, DM, would you mind rolling a d4?
Of course. 3.
Oops, I'm scrolled really far up. Okay, there we go. 3 means Sarren gets it. Sarren, you now have inspiration. You get a 1d8 added to one of your rolls.
Yay! Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Shai.
So I guess Giya is gonna pick up the second one
Yep.
and carry it along.
I toss it kind of over my shell,
Mm-hmm.
like over my shoulder, over my shell.
And through a couple of stairs, you are being led towards like out of the south gate to the west, to a familiar sight, to the towards the office of the hand, as you've previously visited. And so we're moving over to the city map because I don't have an exact map for that.
Okie doke.
And you are you're following the guard towards the office, and you are now you're now grouped up in front of it, and the guard enters and says, "Follow me."
Okay.
And he kind of enters, and you can see upon entering that Feely is sitting on a table, currently sorting something. It seems like a small stack of papers.
Okay.
And she kind of looks up and says, "What in damnation happened here? What did you do?" And she kind of gestures to the side, and the guard steps aside. And she gets up and says, "What happened? You... Why? What?"
She says we were on our way here, and we came under attack in the street.
I
Okay.
let the body slide off my shoulder onto the floor and just kind of stand
Don't
looking at Quilby.
don't drop this, please.
Yeah,
Any idea how hard it is to clean or replace carpet?
I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Giya kind of almost spits at her, like, like spitting the words at her. She's just full of kind of frustration and unhappiness.
Celes says, where shall we put them so that we can continue to answer your questions?
And she kind of scratches her head and says, "What do you know about them? Have you searched them?"
No.
Oh, Giya lets out this big sigh and then puts the body on the carpet and starts patting through the pockets.
Okay. And who are you? Who do you have with? Who did you pick up? Give me a second. You picked up one with the crossbow.
Yeah, the guy that fell off the roof in the middle of
I'm
the tree.
gonna poke at the one on Celes's back. I'm like, this one's a little bit crispy. I don't know what you're gonna get from it.
You Giya, from going through the belongings of this person, find of course the crossbow that he previously wielded, a couple bolts, as well as one amulet that is kind of triangle shaped and has two arrows crossing, like two kind of like bow and arrow, like the arrows crossed in front of it.
Okay.
Do I recognize this symbol?
Yes, you do.
Wait, how
But
do
you
you
don't
even
see
see
it.
it?
You didn't see it yet.
Triangle shaped amulet. Okay.
I can probably make a mock-up drawing.
That's good. Thanks.
All right. So don't need to make an embarrassing mock-up drawing. And are you going through the other person as well?
I'm not. No, I'm just kind of.
Celes still has her on her shoulder.
Here, I'll go through it. I'm like, Celes, hold still. This is. You're gonna have to clean your armor after this. This guy's sticking to everything. I'll try to go through.
All right, you go through and you find two daggers. Previously had. You find a similar amulet to what Giya found, and you find a small piece of paper. You kind of open it up, and it shows a somewhat sketch-ish drawing of Quilby.
I just giggle when I open them, like.
And
Find something, did you?
Yeah.
I just hold it up. I was like, Quilby, it's you, and I just laugh.
It does
like-
resemble you.
They had a child draw this. Look at this, Quilby. I want to walk over and hold it up next to his face.
Well, at least they got the hat right.
You're not helping.
I know someone who could.
And Fila asks, anything else you can find on them?
I chuck the amulet that I found towards her. Just
Yeah,
kind of a
I'm gonna
light
walk over.
toss, you know, that she can easily catch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna walk over to Giya and I'm like, I show her the amulet. I'm like, I got this off this guy. Did you find anything?
I say it looks the same as the one that I just chucked to, what's her name? Philly.
And Fila says, huh. Guess they belong together. Is anyone familiar with this?
I'm gonna toss mine to Quilby. Quilby, catch. I'll throw it to him.
I can't say that I know it.
Yes. Quilby, you know of this symbol. And this symbol, you have only seen it, like you have only heard of it and seen it probably once or twice when you when you were around. And you have heard that this is a guild of mercenaries, specifically assassins, that are hired by the ruler of Celes to remove unwanted or people that are in the way, so to speak. You don't really know a lot about them, but yeah, from what you know, they do usually operate on order of someone from the royal family, and they do so at whatever it costs. Basically, money is not really an issue.
Oh, great. Celes mercenaries.
And Thea says, "Oh, and why are they after you?"
All eyes
We've
turn
been
to
trying to
Quilby.
ask him that for like the past half an hour.
I'm just nodding my head, yes.
Yeah, I think I owe this to you because you've done so much for me in such short span of time. Besides some issues on the way. But yeah, I originally came from Celes. And I was the jester of the court of this kingdom.
I can see that. Is that enough in Solus to issue assassins?
Of course not. You have to be very, I say, notorious to do this.
That must have been a bad performance for them to send people to kill you.
Yeah, about that, you hit very close.
Can you just spit it out?
Right.
Yeah, one of my performances went bad, and some of the royalties was, let's say, killed during this.
Your entertainment killed people?
Unintentionally.
How would that happen?
I just like shrugs. I have no clue.
What were you doing? Demonstrating the stabbing techniques of the court jester?
The pointy end goes in the other guy.
Very funny. There was. I've ordered some fireworks, but I suppose I chipped out a little bit. You know, as being the court jester, I didn't have enough coin to spend on, let's say, preparations. I have to cut out some corners. Yeah, and there was very much bad accident involving fireworks and fire, and like I said, couple of nobilities burnt to a crisp.
Point at the guy. I was like that guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, now
but-
we know why you wanted to run. It's a habit, it seems.
Yes.
Yeah, but my service was very appreciated up to this point, so I'll get an opportunity to, live on my own terms, sort of speak. So I just boarded the ship and arrived here, and that ends where you've met me at the docks.
Short context. Where Solas is.
Oh wow.
You are aware of the general, like what continents there are, and no, it's not 15 feet.
No, I'm just pointing to it.
It's just down the
It's like
street.
Solus.
Either way.
It's like
The
across the
hop
walk
over
road.
there.
over
Sorry.
Not that far.
You just use high magic to fold the space in between.
Yeah.
It's like Dune.
So yeah.
That's quite a ways away. Considering we're in the bottom left corner, for those that didn't know. He came from the top right corner.
I lean over to Giya. I'm like, I've seen some bad performances, but none that bad to blow people up. Like, I mean, wow.
Giya just kind of shakes her head. I mean, I just don't even know where to start unpacking that.
Well, from now on, I promise I won't ask him to perform for us ever again.
I think
And-
that's a good idea.
Billy just kinda sighs and
So speaking of unpacking, she's still
Hey,
holding
I
it.
did.
She's
hey,
still
I didn't
carrying the
expect-
corpse.
Hey, I didn't expect that they will be sending assassin for me.
So wait, they let you leave, and then they change their mind.
Yes, but actually no.
So
Did you sneak out?
I would suspect that they wanted
say I
you
was-
left, but some people felt
Wait,
that wasn't
Celes.
enough.
Like she's like putting her hand up. I want to hear his explanation.
Very well.
Maybe we'll finally get it. I don't know.
Yeah, I was given opportunity to leave on my own terms, or I'll be executed.
Okay, so they let you leave and then they change their mind?
I had to disappear.
You're not making any sense. Did they let you leave or not?
Yeah, some of they did, some of they want me dead.
So the families that you killed want you dead, but the other people are like, nah, you just need to disappear and go.
Let's say my service at the court was appreciated, but this accident was unintentional. Some people want me dead. End of the story.
unintentional. Billy kinda interrupts.
I just shrug my shoulders and shake my head at Gay. I'm like, I'm confused.
Giya does the same. Giya's just kind of giving up, trying to make sense of what's happening.
And Billy just says, well, I suppose you want to be arrested then
Wait, what? For what?
for murder.
Do we have information about that from Celes to here? Does that jurisdiction cover?
Well, from what he just explained, it seems that he has just proven himself guilty.
Do you have an
Well,
extradition
no.
treaty?
I mean, I hold my hand up. I was like, wait. They told him to leave, so technically, he's not really guilty. He shouldn't be arrested. He disappeared like they told him to, I think.
Doesn't seem to me like they were okay with him leaving, considering what happened. Regardless. And she kind of sighs and goes towards her papers.
Celes readjusts
Well-
the corpse on her shoulder.
And says, well, it seemingly caused quite a ruckus here. And she holds up one paper and says, it's been brought to my attention that the Ivory Field group has had one of their buildings, one of the buildings has seemingly been sabotaged.
I
Right.
cough. I'm like,
Someone. And well, by the reports of one of their guards, it seems that a particular group has shown interest in a building just the night before.
Go.
And not too sure if there's a group with a turtle, a furbolg, and a half-orc going about town.
Yes, we came to you. That that day and told you what we'd found. If you recall.
That was in relation to this?
To what? The weapons shipment had gone to the...
I told you you shouldn't get involved with them.
It's not quite what you said,
I just shake
but
my head,
that's
no,
all
it's
right.
not.
I'll forgive you that.
Sure there's not another total group around here? I mean, there's a lot of people in this city.
Sorry.
So we were just enjoying a stroll today, and like all these people were talking about something that happened, and with a building, and I don't know what happened.
Well, I can only hope that they don't associate us with the incident that happened there.
Well,
I
it's
don't
certainly
need
a shame.
more trouble in this city than there already is.
Well, it's certainly a shame that crime such as weapon stealing or weapon smuggling just goes unpunished. But yet you're willing to punish this individual, and she gestures to Quilby, for a crime that you don't even know he committed. So
I cross my arms and I just nod my head.
You need to pick what side you're on.
Seems like some people in this city are turning a blind eye a little too much, but I'm new
We
here.
don't have the resources to currently combat and trying to regulate I'm trying to get an idea of how much is happening here. I know they were smuggling things. I just don't have proof. And unfortunately, we don't have the manpower nor the influence to combat with them.
What kind of
an
proof
all-out
did you...
confrontation would be too
And their building
problematic.
just burned. And their building just burned to the ground. Burnings. Any possible evidence that we could collect.
Well, it's not their only building in town.
I mean, we've offered to help, but
Well,
Even if you had this proof, what would you do with it?
probably forward it to the office of the hand in Caletta and try to get more reinforcements to kind of... and she just sighs again and says, I'm not... We don't know why they need them. There is currently nothing majorly going on. And she seems to be very stressed from what you can tell. And she says, we don't know what they need them for. And she kind of stammers and talks about, says, for all we know, I've heard reports that there is a bit of a skirmish going on in the west, but this doesn't warrant this amount of weaponry. And whatever you found there is probably only a small part of everything that is currently being just dangled under our noses. We only have so many resources. The problem is the Avery Field group is just a very large organization. They are carrying goods around half the continent and well far beyond that. And we just... If we are going to confront them about this, the bigger chances are is that we just might get replaced. And we don't have any control after that. So I would rather leave the amount of aggression between our groups to a minimum for the moment. until we get a better grasp of the situation. I would like to help you. I'm just not in a position to at the moment.
Right.
And all of this doesn't contribute to calming the situation. You weren't the only people tempted to be assassinated. So this is quite exotic. And she kind of tilts her head and looks at the amulet that you tossed her. It says, well, we've had, in the last couple of days, about 4 people getting killed. And I don't know if there's more.
Well, there was 3 at this skirmish.
Who have the other targets been?
Well, 2 of which were murdered down in the South Gate. They had a small shop for wizardry things, as I've been told. And
Wait, when did this happen?
this was, and he looks at us and says, probably 4 or 5 days ago. It was before you arrived.
Okay.
And she says, I'm not sure how well I can keep control of the city at the moment. And I've been trying to organize a lot of things. I've attempted to ask for more personnel and guards, but fortunately we don't seem to have a priority at the moment. Well, I'm not so sure. And she kind of just sighs and looks out of the window.
Celes says, is that where you'd like me to place this corpse? Still having it on her shoulder. He's dripping on your carpet.
It's fine, just drop them outside.
Celes goes, props him up just outside the front door like he's sitting up against the next to the door.
I ask, do you happen to know what might have been taken from that wizard? That's the magic store?
If he's been robbed afterwards? It seems that the storefront and most of the shop remained untouched, from what I've heard. So, if something has been stolen, doesn't seem to be of a large quantity. I'm not, and she kind of tries to take a step back and says, I'm not trying to make up assumptions, but it seems to be if they were looking for something specific, they might have gotten it. It didn't seem like they were trying to collect collateral or anything the shop had.
Are you suspecting the Ivory Group?
Not sure at this point. And she kind of shrugs.
What of
There have
the...
been assassinations partially confirmed that have been carried out by them.
Was it a dwarven-run shop?
It was not. It was a family business. It was a father and his daughter running a small shop. The mother had unfortunately passed away about 2 weeks prior to this.
Did you want us to investigate it?
And she kind of scratches her and says, well, it might be too late already. Besides, and she kind of holds up the paper from before. Besides, it seems that you might be not so safe here anymore either. Wish to remain here.
I assume they won't be trying another direct attack on me.
Wait, you
And
said
she says,
you
well,
said that you assume they won't be?
who?
Quilby, you just said you assume they won't be trying another attack?
Yeah.
I didn't say so. And Phoebe just kind of tilts her head and doesn't seem to be sure what's...
You think they're just gonna let it go after this?
Yeah, of course not. But
Well, as I said, you might not be so safe here anymore.
To be honest,
mean,
I
I
don't
can-
think we're safe anywhere as long as we got Quilby with us, but we're not gonna let anything happen to him.
Giya, like, kind of like scoffs a little bit. Not so sure about that.
do you have any idea how expensive those types of assassinations are?
I just shake my head and I said, no.
Yeah, and royals from the Celes, they aren't very generous if there's other spendings.
I mean, that's why I asked if you think they're just going to let it go after this, and you said, of course not. So either you think that they're still going to be angry about this and try to assassinate you, or you think they're going to let you go. I mean, or you think... Giya just like, oh.
Okay, I know it's a little bit complicated for your turtle head.
Alright, Giya leaves. She just flips the bird to Quilby and exits the shop, pretty much slamming the door behind her.
Celes is walking back in when she walks past and goes, "What just happened?"
I have to explain it to you as well.
Well, explain
And
what?
feel it.
What did I miss?
Really kind of sighs and
Right.
says, oh, well. Have you found anything about Firnus?
Not anything since we've sent that report. Since we gave you that report, no.
Anyone who's heard about him?
We've there's a shopkeep that he frequents down in Southgate. We talked to them about him. They didn't seem to offer too much, short of a few comings and goings several days before he disappeared.
Putsch. Well, neither he nor his body appeared so far.
Yeah, we seem to have come to a dead end in that aspect.
Suppose. And she says, well, doesn't seem like he's to be found. So, what do you plan to do? You're gonna remain and support my endeavors?
What's your current endeavor?
Well,
We were trying to find Firnus. We kind of came up empty-handed with that. We inspected the docks. We found what you were suspecting there. We can't do anything about it. What next?
well, I will gladly accept you into the ranks of my guards. And, well, I guess you could help me out trying to investigate several cases. And she reaches out to the side and says, well, I believe you've already heard about the attacks on a dwarven shop.
Yes.
So if you want to indeed accept the potential danger and remain, you're very welcome to. Other than that, I guess you could support the hand by joining their recent skirmish north from here, where they're trying to repel the increasing attacks from the Deadlands.
She says, I would need to consult with Giya. She's my companion, and I don't feel comfortable going anywhere without her.
Of course.
She says, excuse me, and then she kind of heads out the door and looks to see if Giya is anywhere near.
And Veely turns to Quilby and says, well, and what do you intend to do now?
Yeah, at least on my own, I'm really, let's say, easy targets. Yeah, but like I said, I didn't expect them to send assassins. But on the other hand, they're very, very clumsy, though.
She leans against the counter and kind of crosses her arms and says, well, you did murder someone, so not outlandish for them to request the same, so to speak.
I did not murder anyone.
Huh. Well, guess the politics is as good as nothing down here. So, I guess I'll let this slide, but do note, should you attempt to try anything here, I will will try what is in my I will try whatever I can to, well, see to that justice is served.
Pardon?
Well, she's basically trying to let you know if you tried the same stuff down here that she will crack down on you. Or, well, try her best to.
You've been branded a disturber of the peace.
All right. Celes.
Yeah, don't worry. There will be no performance with the fireworks.
Throwing axes, that's a different story.
So, Celes and Giya.
I was looking to see if you had stomped off down the street or if you just went outside.
No, she's walking kind of towards the docks. She's kicking rubbish as she goes, kicking stones and yeah, she'll kind of cross the bridge and head towards the docks.
Celes would do her best to try and catch up. Assuming that you weren't trying to dodge her.
No.
Okay. Say, Giya, are you alright?
She says yes, but I just refuse to stick around to be insulted like that.
Sorry, I stepped out to drop that dead man on the step.
Oh, it's you. Have nothing to apologize for. She kind of shrugs.
Says, well, I did have a bit of a chat with oh my gosh, I just totally blanked on her name. What? Feely. Thank you. Oh my god. What? I did have a little chat with Feely though when I went back in. She was offering us a different possibility, a couple different options for if we still wanted to be compensated by the hand. And I wasn't sure, as I wanted your wanted to see if you were still up for it.
Giya says, I've always got your back, Celes, but I don't know what we're doing here. It seems like Philly doesn't want to share all the info with us, and then, accuses us of troublemaking when we take matters into our own hands. Has she agreed to give us the authority to act on our own, or is she still going to scold us when we take matters into our own hands?
I'm not rightly sure. I would expect that if she is indeed running a campaign to undermine the Ivory Trade Group, or at least trying to stay above water and elicit some measure that isn't under their control, it would be difficult, and those that would be new to her would probably be less trustworthy, especially if they were troublemakers. But I can't say we probably gave a really good first impression, though I don't know. Either way, let me explain what she offered. One was to continue on here in an attempt to try and...
I don't want to work at the docks anymore.
Fair enough. The other was to head north to the to find out what's going on with the missing people at the what was it called, Hellfire?
No, she offered you to join the hand in trying to, well, generally defend the border northwards.
Defend the northern border from incoming attacks.
Yeah.
So we're just supposed to leave the smuggled weapons in the Ivory Field Trade Company to their illegal activity?
Well, she was saying that if we were to stay in the city, she would ask that we would continue with investigations, starting with the attacks on the dwarven people, the dwarven shopkeepers that we've known, and continue to try to secretly undermine the Ivory Trade Group, but I don't think she wants it quite as open as what we had done before. Not that we've done anything, mind you. The only thing is I don't know if these dwarven shopkeepers are based in the docks, so I didn't really want to speak to that after your comment.
Giya says, I'll follow your lead, Celes. I'm just done inspecting ships.
Says that's fair enough. I only just now realized that I think we left Sarren in there with Quilby. Shall I meet you back at the Blackthorn?
Broken Thorn.
Broken Thorn. Broken Thorn. I'm slowly better with the names.
Lots of names.
Or did you want to come back with me briefly?
I'll meet you there.
Okay then. Celes kind of heads back to the office of the hand, which I'm sure is probably going to take some minutes before she gets back.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
And in the meantime, Feely turns to you, Sarren, and says, "You were looking for someone, if I remember."
Yes, I was. Doesn't seem like I'm getting any closer to that than I was when I first joined this weird, strange place.
It's unfortunate, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, to say the least.
Well, if we find this Firnus guy, I'm sure I can find what I'm looking for. But, until then, I'm just enjoying the adventure. And this is a strange place. Like, see those horses? How big they are? I've never seen horses that big. actually only seen a few horses on my way. And I'm just like rambling on, like telling her my adventures from coming from home to here.
Okay.
I sit down and I just cross-legged and I'm just like blah 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 blah. And I saw some deer, and then they told me not to go see the elves because they're mean, and then
Well,
I have to go around.
She seems half interested, like paying only half attention, the other half being like kind of reading through something. And
Could you stop?
No, go on.
I just shoot Quilby this like really like dagger like stare. I said, I've done
Yeah, you're
performances
missing the
with my
point.
druid. I've done performances with my druid craft that has never killed anything. And I continue with my story. And I look at Quilby and I hold up that paper, and I just laugh every time I look at it and fold it up, put it in my vest. Quilby, can I
Right.
put this in our room in the inn on the wall?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Quilby, I just pat you on the back. I'm like, you're fine. As long as you stick with me, you won't have to worry. I promise. See what happened to that last guy? He's a little bit crispy.
I suppose over time, Celes will return in the middle of Sarren describing her journeys.
So she busts in and says, you are still here. We were going to head back to the Broken Thorn. Did I get it right that
pause
time? I almost called it the Black Thorn. The Broken Thorn. We're gonna head back to. It's a very simple name. It's my doing, not anybody else's.
I mean, so is
Moment of
Felix, but we
hesitation.
always forget her name.
It's true.
Poor feeling.
Okay, I just stand up. I'm like, well, we'll continue my stories later. There's so much more you have to hear.
I can't wait. Please. Come back.
I just smile. I was like, she likes my story. She's walking out.
She says, why don't you go ahead? I'll catch up. I just had one more thing to share with Feely. And she waits for everybody to leave.
I'm like, come on, Quilby. I'll buy you the best alcohol in the town. A whole bottle just for you.
I'm just like, why though?
You're better when you're quiet and asleep.
So I have one
Beats the
thing.
best, so-
I have one thing that I want to do on the way to the Broken Thorn. I want to see
Alright.
if there's a shop where I can buy some flowers.
Yeah, there are definitely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm just going to buy like a small selection of different flowers that I maybe haven't seen before.
Yeah, definitely. You kind of like on your way down, you kind of come to the edge of kind of like the central market area, and there's a stand that has like a couple flowers just laid out, and a couple are in vases and nicely arranged. And you just at a glance, you can already see a couple like very exotic ones. There's a yellow one with a very large bulb that has like almost looks like a very large cup-ish shaped, and a red one which has like a couple leaves that are kind of pink shaded, and so yeah, you can definitely find a couple.
Okay.
And
Oh.
yeah.
Sorry. So when I pay for them, when I buy them, I'm going to ask whoever I'm buying them from what the names of them are, and I write those names down, like, in my sketchbook.
Yeah. These flowers are kind of expensive.
Okay.
So like the bundle of them is gonna cost you 2 gold pieces.
Okay. I look like when they say the total, I'm like, oh. And then, but I'm looking at the flowers and I'm like, oh, but you're so beautiful. And then I hand over the 2 gold.
All right. And yeah, you can definitely ask, and you have about 9 different exotic sounding names written down.
Okay, cool. I'm going to write 1 on the top of each page.
All right.
Cool, thank you.
So,
Okay. And as Sarren and Quilby leave, Philae turns towards you and says, so, you've decided?
not quite. I wanted to discuss things as an entire group and not under pressure of the office surroundings here with...
Well, of
and
course.
she looks down at the dead person on the carpet. I'm sure you understand.
Of course.
She
I will take care of this in a moment. But, yeah.
She says, what are your intentions towards the Ivory Trade Group? And I'm saying this as one who's in favor of justice, not in one who's in favor of who pays more.
And she kind of waits for a moment. It says, well, would like to... They are meddling. They try to influence certain manners of trade agreements, or try to stir several laws and jurisdiction towards their favor.
I realize this.
Well, the problem is try to go against them, and well, you might not be around for all too much longer, for one reason or the other.
Fair enough.
The problem is,
But
familiar.
continuing to
the problem is, I currently do not have the means to try and suppress them or hinder them in their activities. Most of the hand is currently occupied with either fighting the recent surge of activity from the Deadlands, or securing the borders to the west, where seemingly the elves have gotten a bit more interested in ranking up their military. So, yeah.
I just want to know what kind of authority I might have. In my experience so far, I've come to understand that with some of the common folk here, the hand does have a measure of respect, or at least authority, whereas when it comes to the Ivory Trade Group, it's more of a disgust.
And she kind of chuckles and says, well, we've been here first. She says,
What did you expect about great fueled fools?
Wait, did you stay?
Probably didn't stay.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge.
Then shh.
I thought Quilby and Sarren left.
I would not be saying anything if either had stayed.
Yeah, I left for sure. I was going back to the tavern or the inn where we were.
And I thought you dragged Quilby with you.
I tried to anyway. I told him I was going to buy him food and drink.
Yeah, I didn't catch that I was heading with you.
Would you like to leave? Because otherwise, I would not have said any of that if you were still there.
Yeah, I was still considering the offer that was given me by Philly.
Okay. I'll wait for you to finish figuring out your offer, and then I'll do what I just did already.
and I wanted to wait for you or Giya to come back.
I'm already there.
Can't both wait until the other leaves.
If you don't,
It's like
if
a
you're not
deadlock
planning on
situation
leaving,
doesn't work here.
then we can just skip this, and I'll just head back to the Broken Thorn.
Agree.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Hellfire.
Nope.
So that was my mind is understanding the situation.
Okay.
So.
So instead, you both head back as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
And
redact everything I said.
ditto. But along the way, Celes would say, I think you should show a little bit more respect towards Giya. And if you don't mind, a little bit towards myself. I feel protecting you today should have earned some modicum of generosity on your part. And I'm not meaning monetary. Sarren was there too. Now come along. Then she starts like walking a little bit struttier faster towards the Broken Thorn.
All right.
Excuse me.
I guess you're gonna follow, or are you gonna go on your
Yeah.
own, Quilby?
Okay, I'm going to follow.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna switch over. And yeah, you may position yourself as you see fit. There is currently no one besides you in the bar. It is a bit like probably around noon at the moment. So yeah, probably pushing early afternoon.
So I would have ordered some kind of beverage and positioned myself next to this lovely window and started sketching the flowers that I purchased.
You definitely can. Give me a dexterity check.
So I do have proficiency with painter's supplies.
Oh, on checks regarding painting things.
Yeah, I guess. Hang on.
guess.
Let me look at this. I think so. So can I use that?
I would have just gone like a dex check regarding like how dexterous you are painting things, since there is no paint or related check.
Okay.
But it says intelligence, so I'm not sure what this
Yeah,
paint.
I don't.
So you can use the painter's supplies on the check, I think.
Okay. I'm just gonna click this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably then better for future reference. Yeah, they look pretty close to what you have right now.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty decent drawing.
And I'm like concentrating super hard. I've got my tongue like, I'm like sketching, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Got the whole thing going on.
I'd imagine the rest of us show up.
Yep. First Sarren, and then after a short while, Celes and Quilby. So, should you want to do something together with Giya, Sarren, you're most welcome to.
Sure. I ask you, what do we want to do today?
Like, how far into the day are we? Sorry. I'm like,
probably around noon, very early afternoon.
I say, there's still plenty of time to get into some kind of trouble, I'm sure.
Let's go find something to get in.
I say, can I finish this first? I did tell Celes that I'd meet her here.
Yeah, of course. And I'm just gonna sit down and pull some like herbs and stuff out of my pouch and kind of mix them together. And
I'm just kind of sketching away, concentrating. I'm not very good, but I think I'm getting better.
All right. And after a short while, Celes and Quilby also arrive.
And Celes walks in and looks around, and sees them over there by the table, positions herself down, and just sits down at the table, seeing Giya. Have you finished by now, or are you still like drawing?
I mean, I've got 9
Paint.
flowers, so,
got 9.
so I can draw all day.
Okay. So Celes just sits down next to you and says, I told her we'd get back to her. And she takes the book out that she had woken up with, sets it on the table, and says, perhaps a bit of meditation is a good idea. And she says, could I borrow your quill?
Yeah, hand it over to you. Well, it's a charcoal pencil. I
Oh,
think,
right, it
like-
was the charcoal pencil.
Because she's all about the sketching. So yeah, but she'll hand it over.
It's not what you were using at the moment, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it
But
is.
that's okay. So it's like, it's okay.
She goes, I just wanted to, and she opens the book, first page. She writes her name in the book, hands her back the charcoal pencil, closes the book, and just sits back.
Okay.
It says, I think I must have had that dream for a reason.
So what changed your mind?
Extenuating circumstances. And a lot of death. I don't think this is what Cattell had in mind for me today. So I did not have this in mind for her. And she says, I'm not sure that we would be backed if we were to continue with the hand. I feel she would try, but if we were openly caught by someone from the trade group, it would be on us to get ourselves out of the situation.
So what is your opinion, Sarren?
I just shake my head. I said, I kind of agree. I don't think. I don't know. I think if we were to get caught up in something like this, that we're on our own. I don't think. I just sit down. It's hard. Like y'all city dwellers are confusing.
Did you know Sarah and I actually come from a small town?
Did you really? That's interesting.
My mother was from a barbarian tribe in the forests. My father was actually a wizard, of all things.
I just giggle a little bit. I was like, yeah, I miss my family. So, but they're really far away. And that is not a trip that I'm ready to go on again anytime soon.
Fair enough.
But I'm, new here. Y'all took me in to help me out, and I enjoy your company, and I'm behind you guys 100% on what you want to do. And I mean, you're the first people that have actually been nice to me since coming into the city. I know I don't look like anybody else, but
Well,
it is what it is.
If you consider what we've been doing, being nice to people, then here's
Yeah.
here's to you. When she holds a glass up, takes a sip.
So we haven't helped you find your missing person much. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we haven't found anybody.
It's really a long shot. I mean, I honestly didn't think I'd even get anywhere close to having information on them, but it's more for closure for, the person that was killed, and I know if it was my family member and they were way off of where they shouldn't be, I would want to know what happened to them instead of, being left with questions. But until we find Firnus, I won't get any closer, so I'm here.
Says yes. That does seem to be a sticking point with me as well. It's trying to find Firnus.
I just don't know where to look next.
It's like he's vanished, like in thin air. He's vanished, and there's no trace of him anywhere. Even his friends, the shopkeepers that he visits daily, we didn't get much information from them as well. Like, he vanished.
Well, there was some kind of magical experimentation, but
Maybe he blew himself up, like Quilby blew up those people. It's like Whisperilla.
well, that's a good point. Quilby, you know about blowing people up. Do you think Firnus blew himself up?
I should give myself up to those rogues.
Then you wouldn't have jokes. You would just be dead. What fun is that? I said, hold on, I'll be right back. So I reach in my vest and pull out that picture, and I run up to my room. Pack it on the wall.
Yeah, I'm trying to gather my memories. Whistles are usually into some stuff that goes beyond my head. Yeah, I've seen that.
Beyond your little goblin brain.
Exactly.
I run back down the stairs, and I'm like, what did I miss?
Not much. I was just beginning to explain what might happen to the furnace.
Celes is just petting Luna.
Yeah, from my understanding of the wizards, what I've experienced in the past, that they are usually into some really interesting yet very dangerous stuff. And there's most likely that he just had an accident and during one of his experiments and was disintegrated, or shifted to another plane, or any of those magical stuff.
Yes, but I think that the whole aspect of foul play is here, because we kept finding destroyed rooms that looked like they had been searched or
What
animated.
about the books that were biting us? You think those were his?
Right.
Yeah, I assume that might be some sort of security.
So you think he set that up? Firnus?
Most likely. Have you ever seen any wizard with bodyguard or hired bodyguard? They usually prefer golems or undead flesh to do dirty work for them.
I feel like you've been hanging around with some weird wizards.
Celes is a strange place.
Believe me, Kurt. Believe me, I didn't hang out. That is most likely peeking on the court wizard, what he was doing.
I mean, I've heard rumors of magical things happen, being a druid, you know, we do our magics, but it's nothing like what wizards and alchemists do. And I've heard bad things that happen to those people. I mean, it is possible. I mean, we found the stuff there at Firnus's place. I mean, it's possible that he might have had something go wrong. And if he's not dead, maybe he's in another plane. I've heard of such things happening.
Or maybe he was teleported far away.
Yeah, maybe he succeeded in his teleportation and went to either where he was heading or, as Quilby says, far away. I mean, it is very likely.
Yeah, but one thing bothers me that somebody was trying to sabotage his effort to establish a teleportation point here.
Yeah, that is.
That's why I had to take a ship from this Celes.
So whoever it is doesn't want him coming back.
Well, he was planning on making one, but he's not anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you have to kind of be here for that.
And we had to address Giya, the thing that we have found in Firnus basement.
The what?
Just kind of pointing the Celes.
The what that we found in his basement? I didn't think he had a... Oh yeah, he did have that cellar.
Mm-hmm.
What did we find in his basement?
A hidden room. And the thing.
The thing? It does seem familiar, but I can't place what you're talking about.
The thing.
You think that's related to his disappearance?
Yeah, most likely it belonged to him.
Well, I mean, it was in his house, like in a hidden spot, so...
Yeah, but I do see correlation with this item and the dreams that Celes had, and this book that's drinking ink that like there's no tomorrow.
Upon hearing this, Celes just randomly opens the book.
You open the book, front page?
Yeah.
All right.
Just like, she's just kind of like opening the cover and then glancing at it.
Yeah. You can see your name written on there.
It's still there?
And in the next line, you can see Hotel written in there.
Celes suddenly sits up. and
you can
book.
below that, kind of filling out the other 80% of the page, is a drawing of an owl with both wings spread, as if it was just flying straight, like just kind of like straight facing out of the book.
I point at and I'm like, why? I said, why are we even messing with that? We didn't get anything from it the last. It was fun to play with, and it didn't taste very good apparently.
I didn't write that. I just put my name in it and closed it about 5 minutes ago. So
I lean over and I'm like, what is that?
That seems to represent Catel, the goddess of knowledge. And she, like, keeping the book open, she just kind of holds the page, like, looks on the other side to see if there's more on the next page without actually losing that page.
Nope.
Okay. And she just kind of looks it over and goes, that's strange. Could I borrow your writing implement again?
Yep, I hand it over.
And she goes to the next page and she writes Firnus. Gives her the pencil back and closes the book. Says, Who knows? I have no idea myself. And she just kind of pets Luna a bit. His book makes me nervous now. But you know, if anything, there was only one person that I recall actually knowing anything, or actually knowing Firnus, that we met in all of this. People knew of him, or knew where he lived, or what he did, but nobody actually knew him but one so far, and that was that shopkeep at the Dragon Scriptorium, Nellis.
Yeah, but even she didn't give a straight answer what might happen to him.
Maybe we just weren't asking the right questions.
Elaborate?
I don't have anything further on that, short of we've done a lot more wandering about. We're more appraised of the situation with the Ivory Trade Group and the Hand.
True.
The attacks to the north, the dwarven conflict that's happening, the dwarven shop conflict that's happening throughout the city. And now we also know about another magic shopkeep that wasn't too far away, that suddenly one of the previous owners, of the partners, died, and the other one shortly thereafter was killed. So that seems very suspicious, and I personally, if I was Nellis, I'd be a bit suspicious of anybody that came asking. I think perhaps we just need to go in there better armed with knowledge and with blades. Maybe Nellis would be more cooperative if we go in with a sympathetic ear this time. And if not, maybe there's always the good old-fashioned way to lubricate one's vocal cords by offering them some coin.
Or maybe some of that food. Remember, there was that enchanted food.
It does come up as a tempting item to just offer out, doesn't it? And she opens up the book to see what's on page 1 and on page 2 now.
All right. You open the page where you previously wrote Firnus on, and beneath it, there is no secondary line as you had it, but there is a circular symbol that you have seen before.
A circular symbol that I've seen before?
It is a kind of like ring, kind of like a ring surrounding it. There seems to be a small 4-pointed star in the center, and it's laid out with a thin grid in the background, kind of like the star in the center. And
does this resemble the amulet that I can't remember?
It is a striking similarity.
Celes says, "That looks so familiar." I know this symbol. And she holds the book up to everyone and says, "Have you seen this before?" Oh, why can't I remember?
I say, yes, I have seen that before as well. I think we saw that in Firnus's basement. I'm not lying, but I'm not lying. Telling at all. Just being selective with what I say.
I think we should talk to Nellis again. If anything, Nellis might be in danger.
What, for helping us?
Perhaps. I mean, we did set off an explosion in her house.
And maybe she knows something about the other people as well that died.
I figure it's worth a try. I'm more for trying to solve the first case before moving on to the second. Maybe it'll provide more answers, if anything. But then again, it may also just provide more questions. As is knowledge. I'd be up for a trip down to the South Gate. Tell me it's South Gate, please.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. But I know that you have some new subjects that you've been enjoying. We can go.
That's okay. I compress them, and I start carefully like placing them between the pages and kind of trying to squish them in my sketchbook.
Most of them like behave as expected. One of them kind of like squishes a bit and then starts like dripping some like very viscous liquid.
I like pull that one out of the book. That didn't go. I had no idea. I'm very curious. I'm like dabbing my finger in the liquid and just like putting a tiny bit on my tongue.
It has a very strong smell, very strong taste. It shifts between very, very bitter towards like after a couple seconds it turns very sweet.
I say, oh, that's quite offensive. Oh wait, no, it's getting better.
And then it lingers a while and then disperses.
I'm like frantically making notes. Bitter taste. Approximately 3 seconds.
Celes says, "I'm just going to go put my my weapon in the room. Do you mind if I have the key to put it in there real quick?"
I say, no. I'm like still scribbling away.
And she just locks her glaive up in the bedroom.
Okay.
And then she comes back down, gives the key back to Giya, and says, "Whenever you're ready, then. I'm up for it. Is everyone else? Go pay Nellis a visit? Again?"
Yeah. Yeah, I'm up for it. It's getting stale in here. I like the outside a lot better.
And then it is decided then.
Okay.
All right.
To the scriptorium!
So you're currently kind of like, I believe it was somewhere down here. Don't know where we left those points, tokens. And kind of like make your way into Southgate and quickly find the shop with the Dragon Scriptorium sign in front of it.
Okay. Is it on fire?
It
Not
is currently
yet.
not on fire.
Give us 5 minutes.
Along the path, probably halfway there or something, Celes would ask for that pencil once more and say, "I swear I'm going to buy one from Nellis when we get there. Do you mind?"
Dig in my pack. No. And give you the pencil.
And then she goes to page 3 and writes Nellis, and then closes the book and gives the pencil back. And then once we arrive, she opens the book to see if there's anything about Nellis in there.
As you open the book, you like it still says Nellis at the top.
Mhm.
Beneath it seems to be a plant. It has like a pretty small roots, and on top of it seem to be like one central and two at a kind of a, like 45-degree angle. Just large leaves. And it's kind of like this oversized 3-leaf kind of plant.
This isn't any kind of religious symbol, is it?
Not that you know of.
Okay. 3-leafed plant. Okay. So She shows it to the rest of them before entering the shop. Strange. Do you know anything about this, Sarren? And she holds it up, thinking Sarren might have seen something in her travels.
I look at it. I'm not sure.
You can give me a nature check. You're proficient with it.
It's a hibiscus.
Oh dear. You probably have seen this plant, or a plant like it. It seems to. Should I explain this? You've definitely seen it being sold, or seemingly the leaves of it, and it kind of imparts the plant itself. So it definitely exists, or something like it exists. It seems to have been, from what you can gather, it seems to have been used in curing poisons.
Yeah. I just kind of nod my head. I said it looks similar to, plants that I've seen my cure poisons, but it's similar to them. It's not exactly the same, but probably works the same.
Kingsfoil. I think it's a weed then, right? No, I'm kidding. Ethelus plant. No. Okay.
Where are you going with this?
That was a Lord of the Rings
huge
reference.
nerd.
Sorry. So she says, interesting. Thank you. All right. Let's go in and ambush her, shall we?
Is everyone going in, or is only Celes going?
I'm entering. Is anyone
I'll
else?
follow.
Okay, Sarren.
Do I have a choice?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a choice. Asking for your choice.
Yeah, of course I'm going in.
Okay. Giya?
I'm going to stand at the door.
Okay.
Okay.
So Celes walks in. Is there anybody else in the place that she can see straight away?
There is you can, like, as you enter, you currently see Nellis on one of the side shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, like, kind of stacking some scrolls together to make like kind of like small pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And next to her is another woman, a bit like not as tall as her, in similar green robes, and yeah, they seem to be currently talking. And as you enter, she kind of like stops and turns and says, "Oh, welcome. Do you mind if I still take a minute?"
And Celes is like, please. I'll just browse for now. She starts looking around the shop. And she's looking.
Right.
She actually, while she wanders, looks to see if there's anything, not necessarily of the wares, but just in the shop that might be similar to what she saw on the page of the three-leafed plant.
You can give me a perception check.
Okay.
Where are you looking? Just in the front areas, or?
I would be wandering around the whole shop as much as I can without going into restricted areas.
Okay. All right. You do not see it.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, so she continues talking to the woman in Elven, or, well, seemingly a language you cannot understand. However, Sarren can understand.
I'm just looking around.
You paying attention?
Yeah, I'm kind of like looking around and trying to pay attention to what, listen, kind of eased.
They seem to be having a conversation about the recent events. specifically regarding a building of the Ivory Field group being destroyed. And they then proceed to talk about some supplements in creating a scroll and arcane fabrication in that sense. And after a while they kind of like finish and they both say goodbye to each other, and the woman leaves the shop. After which Nellis turns towards you, or whoever is probably closest at that point, and says, "Well, how can I be of help today?"
Are there any other patrons in the shop?
Currently not.
Okay. Celes says, well, I've come more to talk to you about Firnus.
Oh, well, sure.
She says, we're still moving forward with the investigation, but I was wondering, I recently came into the knowledge that there was another similar shop to yours that had an unfortunate accident nearby.
Well, yes, it's been a couple days.
Did you know those people that ran the shop?
I didn't talk to them directly, or knew them personally. I knew of their business. It was a couple streets up, a couple like streets across upwards.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, unfortunately, things happen.
Right. I mean, it was pretty sad.
Of course.
Do you know anything about what kind of wares they may have sold?
Well, from what I've gathered, they sold spell scrolls as well as some gemstones.
Do you sell gemstones?
Why do you ask?
Still trying to piece things together, and it happened in a close enough timeline to Firnus's disappearance that it could be connected. We're unsure. Do you sell gemstones?
No, I do not.
Spell scrolls?
That indeed I do. Would you be interested in some?
Perhaps, but I have to say, not today.
Unfortunate.
I guess I'm just worried, considering that he was of magical means, and then we heard about this other shop being, well, the proprietors are no more, one should say. I personally have concern for other magical shopkeepers, and I just...
Very concerned about my safety.
I am. But no more than any other shopkeep that might sell magical goods.
Well, let it be known to you, my safety should not be of concern to you. I am under the safety of the Ivory Field Training Association, and I am well confident in their ability to keep my business safe.
Could I insight check her to see if she's like in cahoots with them from this kind of statement, or if she's just like paying thug fees because they're like, you're gonna pay for protection, type thing. If I'm getting like
if she's part of them, or if she's just like paying them to not have them attack things.
Yeah, if I think she's part of them, I guess.
Well, you can definitely make an insight check on that.
Okay.
Yeah, from what you can gather, she seems to be part of, or at least deeper business with them.
Okay. Does I'm hearing the sleep
Sleep
wolves
wolves.
behind me. Sorry, it's so cute. It's puggy.
Where did the bird go there?
Oh, I
Oh,
just
I heard it.
You just had to.
It's safe.
You just had to cough. From her statements, does she seem to be saying it from a source of pride that she's protected and stuff, or more like
Seems like it.
just general information? Okay. All right. So I guess Celes would ask, would you mind then repeating any information about Firnus and your relationship with him? How you came to know him, the last time you saw him, what kind of business he was executing that you know of. I just want to make sure that I have all the information straight, because there was some glitches in our paperwork.
Well, sure. Well, Firnus was a regular customer here. He's been here about probably 10 times. He's not been here for very long ago, though. From what I've gathered, he only came to town. Well, at that point, recently. And he seemed to show a very dear interest in some sort of gems, and then he seemingly just stopped coming here. So I can only assume that now you being here, that he's vanished or gone.
Well, for all we know,
So-
he could be on a very long vacation, but we do suspect there is a possibility of foul play.
Well, I do not like if he has traveled somewhere or is out of town. He hasn't told me, at least. And well, that's most of what I know.
What was the last items you recall him purchasing or requesting from you?
I'm gonna make her think about it. From what I recall, last thing he asked of me was very pure onyx. Though I don't generally trade with these things.
Right, you said you don't sell gemstones.
Right. Only on very specific or special or odd occasions, but not in general business.
Hmm.
And he seemed to have shown special interest in some ruins north of here. And
Yes, I do recall you saying something about that.
Field trip.
and
Is there any further information that you could provide us about that, or perhaps another person that might know more?
From what I know that he's told me, he has, there has been a new segment spotted to the ruins east of Galea. So I guess that's where he was mentioning them, or I'm not sure if he's been referencing others. That's the one I know of.
Is referencing ruins east of Galea?
Yes.
Any significance about them? I mean, that doesn't sound
Well-
like a place that somebody who specializes in transportation circles would have particular interest in.
Well, don't ask me about a man's interests.
Says,
Um,
fair enough.
These ruins have been there for quite a while. Though it seems that northward from them, new ruins have seemed to emerge in the cliffside.
New ruins?
Well, it seems that something was built into the cliff, and these things are now broken off, or well, don't ask me. It's what he told me. So
How far away would I estimate this to be for normal travel? Just on a general guess, like days, weeks, hours, for the distance she's talking.
well, you've heard of Giya as like a small outpost. So from what you would estimate, and yeah, it's probably like 3 to 4 days
Okay.
on foot.
All right. To the best of your knowledge, was Firnus also under the protection of the Ivory Trade Group?
Not in any special way that I know of.
What about the unfortunate shopkeep couple that was just a few streets over? Do you know if they were also under their protection? I'm just curious to know if they weren't, you know how.
I don't know all the businesses that the group supports,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't spoken to them personally, so I
Okay.
couldn't tell you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You've been most helpful. One last question. Do you know of any other shops that could potentially specialize or sell gemstones? As it's possible that Firnus may have visited them in pursuit of his materials. And we'd like to follow up with that. Make sure that they're safe as well.
And she kind of stretches her head and says, not really that I know of.
What about the one that you mentioned to me before that sold you that pearl? Would they also have gemstones as well?
Oh, that is just Manili. And I don't know. She comes across all kinds of things. So she might not. Depends on the time of day and if she's had new things or not.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. If you do come across any more information, please be sure to report it to the Hand main office over on Silver Road, in the Silver Road district.
Sure.
And ask for Aaron. He's usually there most of the time and is good at getting information.
Forget you, Philly. We don't talk to you.
We don't want to involve Philly. Or Feely. Oh. All right. Well, thank you. And she looks at Sarren to see if Sarren kind of heard most of that, which she would expect she would. But see if Sarren was ready to go. Did you have anything to add, or?
I look around. I just shake my head. No, I'm like, no, I'm ready to go.
All right. Thank you. And she just leaves.
Well, hope you come back and do business as you kind of leave.
Please buy something.
And runs into Giya on the step. And Celes says, "There's lots to share. We should move." And she just kind of motions and away, probably in the direction of that shop that was selling that could potentially sell pearl, or where Nella's got the pearl from.
That is literally diagonally across the street.
She says, "Let's head over to this shop here."
Okay, I'll follow.
And she stops before getting there, but not too close to the front door of that place, out of earshot of the general public. She talks low and explains, everything that was in the conversation to her. And she says, "And I think that Neely Nellis might be part of the Ivory Trade Group.
Oh, I see. That's not so great news.
No, especially since Firnus came asking for a black agate gem.
I say, that is
She was pretty
interesting.
proud of that fact, it seemed. She was with them.
Didn't we find some gems in the basement at the house, or the, former residents of the Ivoryfield trade folks? I think they were wrapped in like red cloth.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that they're in the bag of holding.
That reminds me, I also found a book there. It was on gem refining. What? They seem to be after gems quite a bit.
Would Celes know anything about the magical uses of these gems for a magical teleportation guy?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
I mean, magic is weird in all kinds of ways.
Yep.
So, you
So
are muted, Quilby.
you're muted, Nerevar. There you go.
Sorry. Sorry, the birds.
Oh, that's all right.
They add to the outdoor experience.
So Celes said, yes, the previous shopkeepers, apparently, the ones where the one passed away and the other was killed, they sold gemstones as part of their trade. Firnus was looking for gemstones. This shop here happened to sell Nellis. Gosh, it's Celes, but Nellis.
They're merging together.
Yes,
Feely and
sold-
Nellis are going to become one.
Sold Nellis her identification pearl, but she seemed to describe the shop as more of a general pawn shop.
And as you since you're pretty close, you can already just look over, and you can see on the storefront, there is the central door. There's 2 windows on each side, and from what you can see on the windows, the inner side just seems to be just overgrown or hung over with some sort of grass or
So wait, the windows are overgrown with grass?
Well, it seems to be on the inside. There's something just hanging where the window, where on the inner side of the window, it seems to be just stuff hanging there. And
Is it a
just
whole
grasses and ferns and
bunch of Rolodexes and stuff? Or no?
Well, maybe we should go in and see if we can get you one of those pearls, because that would be very helpful. Especially because I don't want Nellis to... If she's part of the Ivory Field trade, I'd rather not she know our business.
The only problem with that is it's something to be used for that has to be of at least a minimum quality. And that's going to cost upwards of, upwards of 10 platinum. We're talking 100 gold pieces here at least.
Didn't we, scoop up some gold from...
So this is at best I've got maybe 30 pieces.
I have some money.
I rummaged through, I was 99.
What? You cut out.
I open my pouch and show it to you. I'm 99?
99 what? Copper?
Oh, got pull out a gold piece. Is it gold?
Oh. Well,
Come to think of it, didn't Nella's did she see the sword when we were identifying the properties of that?
she saw the sword, but I identified it. Because she was hovering over me, watching what I was doing with her pearl.
That's a little concerning.
Especially if she's part of it. Okay, yes, we shouldn't visit Nellis anymore. So, yes, I'd be up to donate what funds I have towards a pearl that can be used for identification. But
I can fill in a bunch.
that's assuming that there's also one available here.
That's true.
Perhaps we go in and talk to the shopkeep and find out if they're protected by the Ivory Trade Group first.
This is a good point.
So says, well then, I'm going to go in. And she goes
I'm coming with you.
Okay. She goes in.
All right. You approach the shop, and you kind of open the door inwards.
Okay.
And it's pretty dark in there. Just as you open, or just a waft of kind of like different smells hits you. It smells like different grasses, like different flowers, or just lavender and different ferns and herbs. And
it's
yeah.
dark and smells of all sorts of herbs and grasses. Yes?
Yeah.
Celes holds the, she opens the door but holds the handle and kind of tries looking around a bit. She's got dark vision if it makes a difference. And says, hello?
I just taken a big, I was like,
are,
I said I haven't smelled something like that since home.
are you open?
And you kind of look inside, and it's pretty dim. It's pretty dim on the inside. And there you can see a couple tables, and all of them seem to just be filled over, like just stacked on top, or just bright flowers and other sorts of herbs and roots. And from the ceiling, there's like bundled up grasses just hanging down. And
this looks more like a botanist shop.
And so there's like all kinds of just grasses and stuff hanging about. And there is a voice coming up from the inside and says, yes, hello. Come in, I'm open.
Celes lets go of the door handle and walks in and says, it's a bit dark in here.
Yes, I don't want the flowers to get damaged.
Oh god, talking to Yoda.
And you can see behind one of the desks to the left side is a not very tall woman, very long hair, like it's almost going down all the way to the floor. And she has a kind of like pretty kind of like bluish colored robe. And she said, yes. So what can I do for you? What are you looking for?
What race does she appear to be?
It's pretty hard to glean from this. It's also pretty dark. But just taking a close look and taking one or two steps in, you can probably guess she's elven as well.
Okay. Celes says, hello, my name is Celes.
Yes, hello.
I'm currently, and this is my friend here, Giya, and...
Oh, hello, I thought.
We're with the...
That's something you see very often. And she kind of like walks forward on the side of the table and takes a closer look at Giya.
Giya's like...
She's
She
probably
just freezes
half
in
your size.
like in panic, like, That's being
Oh
examined.
no, nothing to be afraid of.
And Celes says, "We're part of the Hand," and she watches very closely as best she can for any kind of response.
And she just looks at you, says, "Yes."
And she says, "And we're conducting investigations in the area. We've got some concerns that some shopkeepers may..."
It's everything fine in here. No, nothing to worry about.
I see. Do you have protections from the Ivory Trade Group then?
Protections?
Sorry, you cut out there.
No. Protections? No. Why?
I'm just conducting research right now. I've got several shops that are currently stating that they feel very confident that their I guess protecting authority is keeping them well accompanied, and I just wanted to ensure that that's the case. I know that a couple streets over there was an incident with one of the shops. That's a gemstone seller that I just wanted to ensure that everybody is still doing okay in the area.
Everything's fine. And she kind of takes a few steps back and kind of gestures over and says, "Would you look? What are you looking for? Anything I can catch you?"
Would I be able to insight check her responses to see if she might actually be part of the Ivory Trade Group and is trying to hide that? Maybe? I guess.
Highly suspicious little old lady.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to.
You can try.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, like, you could certainly try. Yeah, let's see. Yeah.
She's a shifty
There you go. Yeah. I
Oh,
think so.
Yeah.
It's dark in here.
Yeah, it is.
It's A, pretty dark in here. B, the smell is just permeating everything.
Can I
Like,
walk in behind Celes?
It doesn't smell bad. It's just very a lot of different kind of things. You're not sure where everything's coming from, and so yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
Celes, looking around, says, "I got the impression originally from some other shops that this was more of a pawn shop, but what is it that you sell here?"
Lots of things. So, what can I be of help?
I just tap Celes. It smells so good in here.
I know.
It's like home.
Oh, where are you coming from?
Oh,
That you kind of
far
like
away.
circles around from Celes and takes a
Mhm.
look.
I look down and I guess what kind of what is she?
She
This
is
is Elven lady, right?
Yeah.
Oh
she-
yeah, I just kind of look down just a little bit. I'm like, I'm from far away.
Oh,
You have an interesting shop.
yes. I'm gathering lots of things and I'm selling lots of things. So, and she kind of like steps 2 steps back and kind of spreads her arms. Says, "So, what are you looking for?
I'm
Anything in specific?
I'm
Or
elbowing
just looking
Celes.
through?"
I'm like, the pearl.
The
pearl.
Celes says, "Well, we were told that you could
Yes?
potentially sell gemstones.
Gems? Gems are you looking for?
And she says, yes. Do you happen to sell any?"
Depends. And she kind of like, she thinks for a moment and then turns around and goes to the second table over and just digs into a couple of flowers and just throws a couple on the ground and moves some out of the way.
Wait, she's throwing flowers on the ground?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she kind of like digs into the pile and just pulls out a small, somewhat transparent and like some silvery white-ish looking gem, and holds it up and says, "This? Looking for this?"
Not quite. Perhaps a bit smoother. Like a pearl, perhaps.
I'm picking
pearl?
up the flowers and cradling them like they're like precious cargo, you know.
A pearl? What do you need a pearl for?
I use it for magical incantations at times.
Hmm.
Currently, I've been part of a loner
And she already
program.
pays you no more mind. And she starts like going through something, walks along a table and kind of thinks, and walks a bit further into the shop. Kind of goes to the side on the shelf and picks a couple of roots and kind of like throws them on the ground and continues for a bit, and then pulls out something from behind, from like in the corner of the shelf, holds it up, something like this, and she holds up a small, almost perfectly round looking, well, gem or pearl.
Okay.
Looking for this? For this? She kind of quickly walks up and holds it really close to you.
Obviously, she would need to for me to be able to see it. So, she says, "Perhaps I'd have to ensure its quality. How much would you charge for? How much would you charge for that?"
She kind of thinks for a moment. And she goes to the side of the table and digs into it, just rummaging through stuff, and basically anything that's just loosely kind of look on the table is just thrown off. And she brings up something a larger, almost like a rock that has like a couple golden lines through it, and says, 130 gold pieces.
Right.
Good.
Would you allow me to test it here?
Test?
Yes.
Want to test?
I want to use it to cast to ensure its quality.
No. First buy, then test. You can look at it. And she holds it very close again at you.
She holds her hand out then and says, "If I may, I would like to look at it. I won't cast." My casting would take 10 minutes anyway.
Sure. And she kind of like shoves it in your hand.
So Celes does her best appraisal to see if it's a genuine pearl. And if it would work for her identification casting spells.
You can give me an Arcana check.
Okie
I'm just gonna wander around the shop looking at everything.
How do you use an identification without the identification tools? You don't. You just go, "Looks good to me."
Looks good to you. And it indeed looks good to you.
And she says, "Is anyone else here experienced in gemology? I mean, as far as I can tell, it looks like it'll do."
Take it? Good. Gotta buy it.
She says, "One more thing before I do."
And she kind of like turns towards Sarren and kind of like gets really uncomfortably close. Says, got anything you like?
I just kind of back up a little bit. I'm like, and then I lean real close to her face. I said, "I don't know. Do you have some rare herbs and flowers?"
Oh boy.
Herbs and flowers. Got lots of flowers. And she kind of skirts off into a bit further into the shop and seemingly just digs into one of the tables and collects some like flowers and leaves together. And yeah, that's gonna take a second.
I just look at Celes and then just kind of like shrug my shoulder.
Celes digs in her pouch and pulls out 30 coins. Says, "This is what I've got."
Maybe you could try and persuade her to take a slightly lower price, Giya says, like whispering to Celes.
Haggle?
Yes, that's a lot of money.
I've never haggled before.
Go! And she kind of like turns and almost as if she.
Oh. Giya's whole shell like droops with her shoulders. I get that.
She rolled
I just-
really well on the perception.
Yeah, I just shake my head and I point to my ears and I point to her and then I point back to my ears like she can hear me.
So it says, well, please
No
understand.
haggling here.
Uh-oh.
We're just trying to get the best deal and make sure that
We just don't have enough money, Giya says.
You don't have the money? And she kind of drops the flowers and the herbs that she was collecting for Sarren.
and she's still got the pearl in
I'd
her
say
hand. Like
we
this.
just don't quite have enough, that's all.
Oh, well, I guess that's not then. And she kind of quickly walks up to Celes and snatches the pearl out of your hand.
Mm-hmm. Which Celes doesn't make any effort to stop her. And
No.
says, well, I've got this much. And she holds up 30 gold pieces.
And Giya will start digging around in her pack, and she produces another 70.
Alright. By this point, she has already gone back to kind of picking up the flowers and herbs. And proceeds to pick a couple more out of the pile. And
Do you have any pearls that you could sell us for this much?
and then heads over to Sarren and presents them to you. And says, "So very nice, very nice. Not too easy to come by. Do you like them?" And she kind of like holds them really close.
I just stick my face right up against them. I'm like, I do like them. How much are they?
Hmm?
Give you 130 for them if they come with a free pearl.
10 gold pieces. Very nice.
I look at
sweet.
Celes and Giya, and like,
Celes
I
is, like,
really,
half
really
shrugging.
want to buy them, but I think I need to help my friends buy the gem they need. And I just kind of look sad. My ears kind of a little bit, shrink down a little bit, like, oh.
Pity
Oh,
act.
unfortunate. And she kind of
just
like
shake
throws them all onto the next table.
I just see her toss them like carelessly. I'm like, why? I just walk over and I have my gold pouch out. I open it. I was like, here, take what you need for your.
I think if you donated 70, I donated 30, then we'd only need another 30.
Okay, I fish it out and hand it to you.
Okay. Then Celes would say, all right, you talked us into it. Here you go. 130 for the pearl and the herbs.
And here,
Yes.
no, 130 for the pearl. 135 for the
Yeah,
pearl
I'm
and
like,
the herb.
Oh,
The pearl and the herbs. would be great.
135 for both. Oh.
I just quickly fish out 5 gold. Like, quick, like here.
I'm gonna be like, what is that smell?
Quickly just hand the money over at this point.
Yeah, and she kind of like walks over and grabs onto the table and picks up the flowers and herbs she previously tossed onto there, as well as like a couple more, and just throws the pearl on top of it and hands them all over to you, Celes.
Okay.
All right.
Then she obviously gives the herbs over to
Hmm.
Sarren, and
And,
she takes the pearl and she says,
and she grabs the 135 gold pieces.
"Yep."
I just quickly put the herbs and stuff, and I'm like, I'll look at these later. And I'm like happy. I'm just like, Giya's like, we can go through these later, and I just put them in my pouch.
I'm also kind of like, I'm still cradling the ones that she dropped on the floor, and I'm just like looking at Celes, looking at the ones in my hands, like.
She's like, we'll put them back on the counter.
I'm just like pretending I don't hear Celes.
Well, whatever.
I look at them. I'm like, how much? I said, do you want another 5 gold for those? Too?
Another 5
just-
gold? What? Oh, you picked some for yourself. I see. I see.
I said these are the ones that you threw on the floor.
Well, happens.
Well, I'm just cleaning up for you.
Alright. You want to keep them? Not buy them? You like them?
No, I'm just cleaning the floor.
Alright. And she kind of like grabs into the pile you have and takes them from you. And
did-
immediately throws them onto the next table right next to you.
I just
No.
shake my head and say, you should just let me buy them.
That's okay.
Celes says, I do need to ask you one thing before we go, please.
Yes.
Do you know of a man named Firnus? He's gone missing a few days ago.
Firnus.
He may have been looking for gemstones as well.
And she kind of walks back into the store and digs into one of the piles of flowers.
Is she going to pull out
On the
Firnus? We should have been here a while ago.
Thank God, I thought I would never escape those. And she digs into one of the piles and says, "Oh yes, he's been here. I remember this name. Don't know how it looked like though. What do you need?"
We're trying to find him. Any information you have about what he was last doing or where he might have been going or who he was dealing with. Anything
I
you
don't know.
might know.
I don't know.
What was he trying to buy?
He's been here. He's looking for some dust of some kind.
Some dust.
I don't remember. And she kind of stares off a bit.
Do you have it written down anywhere?
I'm just gonna dig to the planter and find a book.
And she said, "No, I don't. He didn't buy anything. He only wanted to know something."
Oh,
Celes says, what's your name?
"Oh, mine?" And she turns towards you and says, "I'm Minel."
Emina? Oh, I see the typing. Oh,
Yep.
Minel.
Thank you.
Minel. Celes says, can I borrow that charcoal pencil again?
I can't believe you didn't buy one.
I'm sorry, I wasn't going to buy one for Nellis.
Give him the pencil.
And she says, Minel, okay. And she opens it to page 4 and writes Minel at the top.
And she quickly walks up and kind of like tries to peek into what you were writing.
She keeps it away from her and just kind of closes the book as quickly as she can and hands the pencil back.
What are you writing? You drawing?
No, just...
I have drawings.
She
Ooh.
draws.
And she kind of immediately towards you.
And Celes puts it back in her.
And I'm like, I pull out my sketchbook and I'm like, look, I like to draw flowers.
Want to buy one?
I was going to draw your flowers, but you won't let me take them, so...
Ooh, I know that one. And she, as you like put up the first image of the first flower, says, "Oh, I know that one." And she immediately rushes back into the store and throws a couple of things off the table and just digs into a couple of flowers and procures a small bundle of the same flour that you bought, just like kind of flattened and dried up.
Oh,
Wait, what? Flattened it? Did she
Yeah,
say-
like if you press flowers and
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm like, did she just pull the ones that were out of your book?
Ah. Just like these.
I say, well, I do have some that I'm trying to press at the moment, and I show her the
Ooh.
ones that I've got that I bought earlier. And
Ooh, very pretty.
I know they're beautiful. I said this one. Well, and I show her the like squishy
more
part.
rambles about flowers.
Yeah.
This
one
she
didn't go
seems
so
very
well.
interested in it. And as you're like kind of going through, she occasionally rushes off and procures some of those flowers.
I say, I don't have any money left.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
too bad.
I know.
She's like, no remorse. That's too bad. Get out. So thank you for your time and for selling us the pearl and the herbs. And Celes goes to leave.
All right, and she seems to turn around and seemingly sort through some grasses and flowers on a table.
It was nice meeting you. I say, and
Yes,
I'm
well,
gonna follow Celes out.
Safe travels.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
So once we're outside, Celes thanks both Giya and Sarren for the loan. She says, I will do my best to pay you back, but thank you very much. This will at least ensure that we don't need to get things identified at Nelly's shop anymore.
Well, consider it a payment in advance for identification services.
I just nod my head and it's like, yes.
So, I suppose we could investigate these ruins. Could let, oh god, I can't remember the
Philly.
Feely. We could let Feely know that we're gonna continue.
Change the name if you want.
No, it's fine.
You can memorize.
Because then I'll just forget a different name. But she's basically suggesting that we could tell Feely that we're going to stick with the original contract and try and finish it and go investigate the ruins to the north that he said he was at. I don't know much else that we'd be able to investigate here. We could ask some more questions about the couple that was killed, but I think we know why. Something to do with those gemstones. So we've got the dwarven shops as well. Wouldn't be surprised if they potentially sold gemstones. But, I mean, what do you think about going to the ruins? See what he was investigating there. I mean, I have no idea why he would have gone there.
Sounds good to me.
Road trip?
Yeah, we could use the change of scenery from the city.
I
From the
agree.
Ivory people.
Gives us a
Seem
chance to
to.
lay low for a bit, too. All right.
All right, what we're gonna do?
Let's send a letter to Feely, because I don't feel like walking back there. We can have yet again. We could have Luna deliver it. She's a very good delivery owl. Anybody got any extra parchment? I would like to look for a shop that might sell some writing utensil and paper on the way back to our
Yeah, because Giya is not tearing a page out of her
Right.
sketchbook.
out of our on the way back to the Broken Thorn, or if she knows of one nearby, she would like to try and stop there where she can get like just
I mean, you can go back into Mischief and ask her if she has a utensil.
I just want like she kind of intimidates me. She's too cute and scary.
There is
Oh,
a
boy.
whole marketplace.
Right. This is what I'm thinking. Maybe we just pop into the marketplace, just get like a really cheap writing implement and some
Or we
scrap
could
paper.
finally buy something from Nellis. I mean, I know she's like one of the bad guys now, but she was kind of helpful before.
Well, I just need
Yeah.
something really cheap because I've only got like silver pieces left.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to buy one on the like general market-ish area, you can most certainly find one that is going to sell you a bit of paper, as well as
Yeah, speaking about shopping, I could use some resupply.
well,
Okay.
one short second, you will definitely be able to procure a stack of paper and a bit of graphite writing utensils, charcoal writing utensils, by probably like 2 or 3 silver. Let's say
Okay.
2.
Sounds good. Thank you.
We need to take some jobs that pay.
Well, we could also ask to see if we are due any pay.
Quilby, you wanted to have some stuff?
Yes, I would like. There was place mentioned that where I will be able to buy beeswax.
Yep. No, that was mentioned a while ago, if I remember correctly. And you asked Nellis, and she also pointed you towards Minili's alchemy, where you just left from.
Yeah, I would like. I got reminded myself as we were on our way. I'll be right back. I'll have to go back and buy something.
I'm thinking we head out in the morning. We could just head back to the Broken Thorn for tonight, rest up, and then head out in the morning. So we'll meet you back at Broken Thorn.
It is probably like early to mid-afternoon right now, so yeah.
Yep.
If y'all wanna like do some buys and buying and stuff.
Yeah, I'll do.
All right. So you're gonna enter back into Minili's alchemy. And she's on a different table now. She's like a bit further in. And as you enter, she immediately goes, "Oh, welcome back. How can I help you? Want to buy something?"
Yes,
Oh.
I would buy something. Have you happened to have honeycombs?
Honeycombs. Yes. And she goes further inward behind the counter and procures a small like barrel kind of sorts, and says, "Yes, I do. How much do you need?" "What do you need it for?"
I need it for some of the performance.
"Performance? Performing with beeswax and honey?"
You can think about it as stage props. Anyway, how much for 5 of them?
Well, determine like 5. Like 5 is a bit of an awkward amount for honeycombs.
That is awkward.
Hmm?
No. How big the honeycombs are that she have on in the stock?
Well, like, she had opened it a bit, and you could have looked inside and saw, like, it is 3, like, larger, I don't know how you call them. Like, I'm not keeping bees myself, so I'm lacking terminology here. Like, some larger, like, these...
A frame of
Yeah, it would be
comb?
like the... like, basically the combs, yeah. Like beeswax and combs, that would be on a frame, but just like without the frame, so you essentially just have like
big chunk of
Yeah,
comb.
big- chunk
Yeah,
of comb.
those frame size ones. Like
Yes,
3 or 5 of them you have?
Oh my god.
3.
You have
You
3.
need them all? You want them all?
That depends how much you will be charging for them.
And she kind of like looks over and shoves a bit of stuff from the table and seemingly just picks something out of the table and looks at it. Like what that is still left on the table, and just looks at it and says, "Oh, for all of this? 5 gold pieces."
For 5 honeycombs, right?
For the 3 that she has. Like the 3 larger frame things. By now, it's gonna be 10 in a bit.
Wait, what?
Well, she basically said if you don't buy it right now, it's gonna be 10 gold in just a bit. So the longer you think, the more expensive it's gonna get. Oh, and it's 10. 10 gold pieces.
Oh, come on. Then you add some of those cheeky flowers.
What? Those are all precious flowers. None of them are cheeky or bad.
Oh, cheeky.
Yeah, but they smell funny.
Smell funny?
The price is going to go up to 15 in a minute. Keep insulting her flowers.
We're not making progress here.
Backpedal.
So, what do you say? 50 gold pieces.
Okay, make it 7.
This is the weirdest haggling I've ever experienced.
It's up there, yeah. No. 50 gold pieces.
I'm not buying that much for a honeycomb.
And she kind of like chuckles and says like, "Oh no, 5 gold pieces as usual. So, you want them or not? You want them?
Okay, fine, 5.
Good." And she kind of like pulls them out, and there's still like kind of honey dripping off of them, and just hands them to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Mage Hand and grab them and pay.
And
5 gold.
she snatches the 5 gold out of your hand. Says, "All right, anything else you like? You have?"
Maybe I'll be back later. Much
Sure.
cheaper.
Sure. I'll be here. Thank you. And she kind of like waves a bit.
Mm.
And she intently stares at you as you are still there and then leaving the shop.
I'll make sure that some of the honey will be dripping on the floor as I leave.
Can certainly do that.
Does she
And
look like
I'll
she's worried
be-
about cleanliness?
And I'll be back on my way back to the Broken Tone.
Okay. So, any other purchases, shopments, and stuffs being wanted
No.
to be made?
No, I'm just gonna go back to
Healing
the inn
potions.
and I'm going back to the inn and I'm gonna go through all my new like herbs and flowers and stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna write that letter to Feely and have Luna deliver.
Yeah,
What are you
I'm not
gonna
doing
write in
any
it?
more shopping.
Going to investigate northern ruins.
Bye, see ya.
Go ruins north, bye.
In pursuit of previous contract on Firnus. We'll keep you updated as we progress. Celes. And she includes an extra sheet of paper that's blank, and she also puts PS. Feel free to write a return note as Luna will be returning.
Didn't we want to see if she was going to pay us?
We'll stop by in morning on way out for payment.
For salary. I like
For salary, yes, salary.
Can you imagine Celes and Giya trying to write like a ransom note or something?
Money now, boom, dead, bye.
So I squash you.
She doesn't include the second sheet, but she does, include a little PS saying that she could basically return a message with Luna if she wanted, and then say anything else.
Don't want to give her the paper.
No, she can always write on the other side if she wants. So it's expensive, man. So if unless anybody has anything else, she'd send Luna on her way.
Nope.
Okay. And Luna is on her way.
Okay. And pretty much just she'd start thinking about different things she could write in the book, but not write them in there yet.
Do you open it or what?
Yes, actually, because I forgot Menele was in there. Yes. She opens
right.
it to page 4 then. Menele.
All right. You all right, you open it and hold on, I gotta look this up.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's gonna be like a Cthulhu or something. We're gonna be like, oh shit.
Great old one. Oh shit.
You never know. You open it and it still says Menili. In the next line, it says Scholar of Nabith, and beneath is a seemingly a sketch or a drawing. A small wooden branch, kind of like from the left middle to the bottom right, kind of ish. On it sits a small bird. Kind of like almost a bit curled around the branch, but it has like behind it are like two massively large wings that almost stretch all to the top right of the page.
Okay.
Do I get to correct something? Yeah.
This is why I type it, so that I
Yeah,
can make
yeah,
sure I
exactly.
understand.
Yeah, that's
Oh, Nabith. Right.
You were still thinking about Cthulhu.
I was. I'm like, shoot, she is a scholar of Cthulhu. Okay.
understandable. Okay.
And then she just waits for Luna's return, and then after that probably retires to bed. You know, after eating food and stuff. Just taking the evening off from fires and...
Philia's written on the back, LOL. You know? That's it.
Lol SMH.
Salary, lol.
Lol. Yeah, it takes a bit. Eventually, Luna returns,
Mhm.
and there is a message attached.
Okay.
And you kind of open it and read through it,
Mhm.
and Feely pretty much confirms and says she will expect you tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Oh. Here's your copper piece. Don't spend it all at once.
I'm anticipating like more of the hand guard will be there waiting for us. All of them holding shackles here.
Let's go. Okay. So, anything else you wish to do the rest of the day?
Probably let the innkeep know that we'll be heading out in the morning, and to be sure to continue to put it on the hand.
Mhm.
About that,
Okay.
and that's about it
All right.
for
So
me.
you
At least.
spend your afternoon and evening in the inn. There is, like, as it pushes it later into the afternoon, there is a couple patrons walking in and out.
Mhm.
Over time. And yeah, it is mostly human. There is the occasional group of, like, there is in total over the course of the afternoon and evening 2 groups of dwarves that came in and seemingly just minded their own business, played cards, and left.
Ooh, ooh. Hang
Um,
on, before they leave,
Okay.
I'm like elbowing Celes and Sarren. Should we talk to them?
And so it's like, what about?
Well, weren't dwarves being targeted?
Perhaps. It doesn't mean that all dwarves in the city.
But maybe they know the ones that were.
I'm better with authoritative speak. I'm not so good with schmoozing.
Okay.
Giya
kind of shrugs.
Alright. Yeah, that is pretty much it. And yeah, eventually you will then, I guess, make your way to your rooms in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
I can probably just get rid of this, because, like, just wanted to show off. So you can better orient yourself.
That room has a potted plant in it. Doggone.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And yeah, you take your night's rest.
Mm-hmm.
Seemingly goes by uneventful. And yeah, you all awake in the morning, well rested. And yeah, it is morning.
Okay. Gather all the things, leaving nothing behind, and head out. Let the barkeep know, and probably turn in Or ask Giya to turn in the keys at least.
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me.
So, anything else they want to do in the morning, overnight?
No. I have the poster of Quilby over like by our door on the wall.
Wanted.
You taking that one with you, or gonna leave it there?
I might as well. Oh, if we're leaving, I'll wrap it up. I'll fold it. I'll tell Quilby. I'm like, I won't leave this here. Just, we don't want anybody getting a hold of it.
All right, and yeah, you leave the inn
And we
and
will
make your way towards the office of the Hand to meet up with Feely in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And yeah, as you arrive, Feely is already up and doing work. And as you enter, she kind of gets up and says, "Well, good morning. It's expected. So you've chosen to head northwards."
Yes, we were informed that his last contact with Neles, at the Dragon's Scriptorium, had last known that he had been up at the new northern coastal ruins. So,
They found new ruins.
yes.
And she kind of seems a bit dismissive.
And she says, but I can't imagine why a teleportation mage would have any interest in that. So we were going to...
I don't either, but...
So we're going to go up and investigate. Perhaps we might find some more information, perhaps not. Either way, we could potentially be back in perhaps a week. It should take us a few days to get there.
Do you have necessary means of travel?
Not at this time, no.
All right.
Do you have a
Any
means of
help you
supplying
can
it?
offer with that?
Well, not me directly, but can forward you to the stable master near the gate out from the Silver Road westwards. So you can probably ask them.
That would be very good. Not that we've actually had too much success as of yet, but did not know if there was any salary payout as of yet. Considering that out of game, I have no idea what contract we actually have with them.
You don't have like a fixed hour schedule, so to speak.
Right.
It is more like they ask you to do something, and then you can either accept or decline, and well, then you have to live up to what you've agreed to.
Okay. Oh, so we actually haven't delivered on anything short of the docks.
And there she goes. Well, yes. Suppose, well, you haven't exactly delivered as I've expected. You still have done your duties. So this would only be fair. And she kind of reaches beneath their desk, and you can hear a bit of clattering of coin.
Mm-hmm.
And she seemingly just pulls some stuff together, and then brings up this small pouch and hands it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, well, considering the circumstances, might not be too much, but it will do. And inside the pouch are 50 gold pieces.
Okay. And Celes just kind of hands the pouch over to Giya. And says, thank you very much. And we'll see you hopefully shortly.
Safe travels.
And she just kind of nods her head and leaves.
All right.
And then heads for the stables.
Yeah. So yeah, as you're kind of getting closer to the gate, you notice like off to from the street off to the left side there is a larger complex,
Mhm.
and they also seem to have a couple horses standing around, and you can't immediately see someone who's particularly tending to them.
Mhm.
But it does have a side building to it, like a side interior to it that is currently open.
Mhm.
They just kind of step inside, and there you can see to the immediate right as you enter. It seems like a long counter, and to the left is more like 2 tables and a couple chairs to it. And there is a human male standing behind the counter, and as you enter, he goes, "Well, hello, good morning. How can I be of help?"
Celes says, we're looking for transportation to the coastal ruins to the north. We were told we could ask here for, well, transportation. We represent the hand. And she pulls out the badge.
You wanna buy some horses, or just, well,
We were looking more for just like temporary loan, or perhaps a horse and wagon.
can definitely arrange either of those.
There would be 4 of us.
Okay, sure. I guess we could do 2 horses and a cart, or 4 horses. And how would you wish to proceed?
Have you been to the coastal ruin area before? Do you know if a cart would be able to traverse the terrain there?
Where is it from here? It's north or south?
North.
It's not very well established, so don't think a cart would serve you well there.
Then I would speculate perhaps 4 horses.
All right, all right. How long are you gonna be?
We anticipate probably no more than a week. It might just be a few days.
And he fumbles through a book right on the counter and says, "Yes, of course. If you tend to the horses adequately, we can definitely arrange this."
Okay.
And it would be for a week.
Okay.
And you have to pay up front, and the loan for each individual horse would be, for the time being, each of them about 15 gold pieces. That rounds it up to 60 gold.
And you can charge that to the hand via Philly. What's that?
Right. I will note this down. And who is asking?
My name is Celes.
All right. And he notes down something and seemingly crosses off something and closes the book and, well, circles around the counter and says, "All right, then, follow me." And steps outside with you and to the side of the stables. And picks out 3 brown and 1 black horse, and puts saddle and gear on them, and one after one hands them to you. And yeah.
And Celes just grabs one of the brown horses and says, as a DM, you don't need to come up with the names, but she would ask if the horse would have, names. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably have names. but-
Okay.
Donner, Blitzen.
Nope. So yeah.
Then, okay.
All right.
We hop on the ponies and find out who can hop on a pony.
Yeah, it's really awkward as a turtle.
Mm,
Could still go
Yeah.
for that cart. Do you want to do a cart?
hmm.
Or are you going to be okay on the horse?
I mean, he said that the cart wasn't really an option for that direction, right? So I kind of feel like it's a horse or walking for me.
Probably gonna be a bit difficult terrain for a cart.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel I should probably ask this now before we leave the city. Do we actually know where we're going?
Roughly.
Okay.
Think you have a rough idea where you're going? And if you're following the street, there was a fork in the street,
Mm-hmm.
or well, a crossing in the street, where it went like from where you came from Caleta.
Mm-hmm.
It went northwards towards Galea, and it went southwards to Modron. So, yeah, you have at least an idea where you're gonna go.
Okay.
All right, so
Giddy up.
you're all heading out.
Yeah, so when I get on the horse, I'm more like laying on my belly than I am like sitting up, So it's like the front of my shell is kind of like along the horse's like back, and yeah,
Are you going to
it's really awkward looking.
side saddle?
No, that doesn't work. I've got to shell.
Side saddle.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like I could hug the horse, around like the horse's neck. Anyway, super awkward.
Wait a second. Trying to. Right, we can probably switch over to this as we are like making a bit of a greater movement. All right, so you're heading out from Menares to westward, and it's a bit. There's a bit of traffic on the streets, and specifically coming. Leaving Menares westward together with you. Not so much in the other direction towards Menares, probably yet. It's still a bit early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about 8 feet.
If I could turn off the option for it to
Quite-
show a
quite
distance, I would. Just showing people where we are if they're
Yeah,
watching.
I see. It's
So yeah, you're westward, and it takes you probably about an hour or so until you reach the crossing. So it's not very far up from the city.
Okay.
And yeah, straight forward, further westward is Caleta. You can choose to head south, where it says Mudrun, or you can head north, where it says Galea.
Head north. Look for these coastal ruins.
You begin to head north, and it's still a pretty open field. It's probably a few small hills, like
Mhm.
just rolling hills. And from the distance, you can kind of see a forest approach. And the street just goes straight into the forest. And you continue on, and you're just now in the middle of a forest. To the left and right of you is just thick forest, and the condition of the street seems to wear off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
From where we started off at, the street itself was pretty well made, so the stones were all accurate and in order. And now you're beginning to see a couple stones missing. More of the street occasionally is just being run over by dirt. Interestingly enough, there is no cart coming against you. Like there's nothing coming from Giya. And so far, you haven't seen anyone going to there.
So we kind of went this way, and then we're kind of heading like up to.
No, just straight north. It's not actually marked down here. So-
Okay, all right. So kind of like this, and then just straight up. I guess. Trying to figure out where we are. I guess. I mean, I know Minaros is here, and we
I
went
can also
west.
throw you on this map.
Is
Oh
your
my
GPS
goodness.
not working? It was.
Oh, okay. I see.
Hmm.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're now heading further north. The street is like the road is getting progressively worse, and yeah, you're now probably pushing into pretty late afternoon, evening.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to continue, or you're gonna try find a bit of open space and rest for the night?
Probably. I mean, if it's getting close to evening, we'd want to try and find a place to rest for the night. At least I'm guessing that.
Yeah, I don't think I'd really want to rest at the ruins. Seems all.
Well, I wasn't even sure if
creepy.
we'd get there on horseback in the same day or
Oh,
not.
yeah,
so.
wasn't it like several days travel? Or did I imagine
By
that?
foot.
By foot.
It's
Oh, what
actually.
could go wrong sleeping at haunted magical room?
It's fine.
But
Hey,
now
man.
currently, like you're now still, as you're pushing into late afternoon and evening-ish, you're still inside a forest and still following the road towards Giya.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can, after a bit of like continuous travel and trying to find an open space where you can camp for the night, you do find one. And yeah, it's kind of like clearing on the side of the street. Should not say street, it's on road. And yeah, it seems nice enough.
Okay. Pull off there. Give like a once around the area to make sure that there's like no sign of anybody else around it, and then
How thorough are you?
considering her previous background, she'd probably be pretty thorough. I mean, she's not being rushed or anything, so
Mm-hmm.
she'd want to make sure that there's nobody like highwaymen setting up ambushes, especially in like since there's like fighting to the north, and she's done patrolling with merchant groups before.
Mm-hmm. Give me a perception check.
Okay. Perception. She's as thorough as a 13.
13. So yeah. All right. So you all settle in for the evening. Who's keeping watch?
I'll take like the
Or is
first
someone
two.
keeping watch?
Mm-hmm.
I'll
I'll
take
take a
like
watch.
the first two watches because I only really need 4 hours of meditation.
I'll
Okay.
take the middle one. Or a middle one. Or...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll definitely take last watch.
I'll take first.
I thought Sarren. You want to go together with Sarren on the first?
Oh,
I'm
I see what
fine
you're
with
saying.
that.
Yeah, because that puts basically 2 people on per watch except for the last one, which I think Quilby would be.
Well, no, it's like I'm taking the one after Sarren.
Okay. Wait. Alright, I'm confused. How long is a watch
2
for?
hours.
3 hours?
2.
2 hours. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's 3 cycles, so to speak.
Okay.
So you're taking first with Sarren, then Giya, then Quilby. All right, I'm gonna need you and Sarren. Either both of you make a perception check, or one makes one with advantage.
I have no idea of the other person's perception ability, so I'm just going to say let's each make a separate one.
Nice, nice.
That's very nice.
That's some pretty nice perception. All right, as it pushes into the evening, it gets dark very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The surrounding forest probably helping in that endeavor.
I'd have Luna help on any watches that might be short a person, if there are any.
Yeah, well, the second and third, or just one, so yeah.
Okay.
You both do notice, though, as it gets darker, you notice out of one direction of the forest, a kind of consistent, just green light, kind of like flickers in the distance.
Are you
Further
sure
to the forest.
it's not Celes?
Just pretty sure. In what direction?
Just into the forest, like away from the road into the forest.
Excuse me.
It's probably like 40 feet away, 50 feet.
Celes would try and whisper to Sarren, Do you see that?
Yeah, I'll look. I have dark vision anyway, so.
Well, you both have pretty high perception. So yeah.
Both have it? Okay. Yeah, I'll look over there. I'm like, should I go take a look?
Says, I could have Luna do it for us. What do you think?
Sure.
So I'd ask Luna to go fly in that direction, and I would try to look through her eyes.
All right.
Oh boy.
This is what Luna sees. It seems to be a small clearing in the forest. And yeah, there is this small, well, not small, but it's actually quite a sizable rock, seemingly atop a circular arrangement of stones that is glowing vibrantly green. And around it is a small puddle of water.
Is there any sign of any life?
Doesn't look like it.
So she'd then come back to her own senses, and she'd say to Sarren, there's a glowing crystal in the middle of like a small pond. More of a pool, really. It seems arranged, and the crystal in the center is glowing green. I didn't see anybody nearby. Do you think it's safe? Or perhaps we check it out in the morning?
Yeah, well, we could.
We should pass it on to those on the next watch, just in case.
Okay.
Okay.
And Celes would definitely keep an eye out in that direction. Be a little bit paranoid, but...
Okay. but the rest of the watch goes by uneventful. So it is now Giya on watch.
Yep.
With Luna.
Okay.
Do you mention the glowing crystal to me, or are you just
Yeah,
like...
definitely. I mean, yeah,
What?
I'd mention, when it was our watch is up, we'd say, hey, there's a pool that I looked at through Luna's eyes, just off that way, where there's a glowing green crystal above it in the center. We haven't seen any sign of anybody else, but we figured we might investigate it in the morning.
Did it like start glowing suddenly, or it was glowing the whole time?
I think it was glowing the whole time. We just didn't notice it until night fell. I'm going to leave Luna up with you.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah. I'm gonna need a perception check from you, and I'm gonna need one from Luna.
Yes.
Luna gets
Yep.
advantage on perceptions.
You are entranced with what Celes has shown you. Like, you're just the entire
What is that?
entire watch are just looking over there and being like, what is this exactly?
I think it just flickered. Wait, no, that was just the leaves.
Occasionally it does flicker.
It did flicker.
Ooh.
Thanks, Luna.
Okay.
This thing is crazy.
And,
I can't take my eyes off
there
it.
is nothing eventful or nothing immediate happening during your watch. So it is now Quilby's watch.
Quilby, there's a weird crystal over there. But Celes wants to check it out in the morning. So that we can go as a group.
Okay, I have the don't go on to the crystal. Okay. Got it.
Okay, and Giya
Something
goes to sleep.
else?
No.
Right, next round of perceptions. Alright. So yeah, you're also keeping tabs on whatever happens over there, or wherever this green light comes from.
I didn't understand why some of the perceptions for Luna are in grayish color.
She gets to roll perception at advantage.
Perception that relies on sight.
No, the 9 and the 7 is in like a grayish color, or maybe
Yeah.
it's my...
Yeah.
You can actually.
Because the roll itself is on advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So it only highlights the top number.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
All right. And also your watch goes by without anything special happening. So yeah, dawn breaks. And yeah, you all awake, and Quilby with Luna are just sitting there looking about.
So, do you want to go check this thing out?
Then, wasn't there one last one? Or did I mess that up? Are we done with?
We're done with sleeping.
Thank you.
The sleeps are done.
Sleeps are done. Okay, spells.
Okay.
We're back.
We have slept.
We did it.
I'm like, I think we should go check that out.
I agree.
So I'm gonna start heading that way.
It's very curious.
I'll follow.
You dragging your horses with you?
Yes.
Yes?
I mean, how far away is it? I guess.
40 feet, he said.
Oh, then no.
Luna, you stay here with the horses.
Luna gets such exciting jobs.
Yep.
She's very cooperative.
Oh, Luna's here. Okay, so you all wander into this forest, and that is roughly what you see. It is as I described before, a green rock or crystal on top of what seems to be like a ring arrangement of rocks. There is a small kind of pool of water.
Is it actually floating or is it attached to the rocks?
It is resting on a central kind of like pile of stones.
Okay. Have you seen anything like that before?
I'm gonna move closer and see if I can see how deep the pool is. So I move to like there.
Beware of
Didn't
frog
see
humans.
something like this particular before. You kind of approach Giya and peek over the edge to look how deep the water is. It's not that deep, so you could easily, probably wouldn't even go to your knees.
I'm gonna follow behind Giya.
Do you think it's a trap?
Celes is encircling the outer perimeter of this area, exactly looking for that just now.
And I'm gonna burn my detect magic for the day.
Oh, mm-hmm. I'm gonna need to look up what this is.
He's like, I don't know what it is. Get out your fairy bottles.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just for reference, she's just gonna, kind of go around the perimeter of the trees to see if there's any sign of any life or people that have been here before.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you casting detect magic. Definitely like the center stone is magic. And you get the sense that this is evocation.
I'm trying to decide how Giya would describe that.
Do you want me to read what evocations?
No. I got it.
Okay.
Seems to be elemental magic, perhaps. Something like that. Or it's energy that's been manipulated.
Well, it doesn't look like black agate. So it's got that going for it.
Are there any so wait, hang on, Celes is searching around. Do you see any tracks from other people being here, Celes?
I don't know. Do I see any other tracks?
What was it? God. What was the roll for this again? Survival?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
Sure.
ranger style tracking. is
Survival.
Yeah.
Blurp.
Oh boy. There is grass around it.
Nothing that
So-
I'm finding that's obvious.
Nope. Nothing pretty obvious in terms of tracks.
She proceeds over here with, after she's done her perimeter sweep, to move up and say, so is it, you say it's magical then?
Definitely. I chuck a pebble into the pool.
Blue.
Water seems okay.
Fizz, it
It's
like...
like the test.
Maybe that's kind of like a wishing well.
It is kind of pretty.
I kind of like look at Quilby and then close my eyes.
Don't you even dare.
I made a wish and it did not come true. Then I pick up a twig and I chuck it at the crystal.
How big's the twig?
It's not like it's like
You're just
I'm not
throwing it at it. You're throwing it at it, or you're poking it.
I'm chucking it towards it.
Okay. Flies over and bounces off and rolls into the water.
Seems
Did you
fine.
expect your wish come true after chucking a dirty pebble?
Did you think that I would really think this is a wishing well?
Celes kneels down next to the pool and takes off her gauntlet. Takes just the tip of her pinky and touches the water.
Yep.
It melts off.
It's liquid.
Okay. And she gives it a smell, a sniff.
Like the general smell of the forest dominates whatever this could have potentially smelled like.
Okay.
So
She
might be water.
gives it a taste.
Yep. Drink it, and it's water.
Says it seems to be just water. I could try my identification, but I'd have to touch the crystal.
And if something will go wrong?
I mean, what kind of magic did you say it would?
Evocation, I think, is what they call it.
I can't remember what evocation does.
Lots of stuff. So fireball, lightning bolt,
Elemental.
anything that makes, I guess, damaging stuff.
Great. Right. I suppose identifying it won't necessarily might not help.
So things that are evocation are firebolt, light, cure wounds, heal, magic missile, spiritual weapon, earthquake, or telepathy, for as examples.
Wow, that's quite a variety.
I mean, like, I feel like it's 50-50 that it's gonna kick our ass or actually not, like,
Well,
maybe not be so bad.
I could touch it and we could see what happens. Worst case, I could attempt to shield myself. What do you think?
How big is this thing?
The central stone itself is probably not bigger than your fist.
Oh, okay. So it's
just a bit
pocket-sized.
larger here because this was the only prop that I could find that would work. So sorry.
It would definitely fit in the magic bag.
Are you saying it's not to scale? Celes
I'm
says,
gonna make like a small star and white text beneath every page now that says not to scale.
Standard background.
Celes says, let me see if I can identify it.
Could be handy.
Step into the water.
Yeah, she steps into the water.
Okay.
Here, I'll move her. There we go. And she starts her incantation, which will take her, I think about 10 minutes or something like that. I can't remember. Shall look. 'Cause it might be a whole hour for all I know. Identify.
Yeah, if it's an hour, I don't think it is.
No,
gonna be.
it's 1 minute. There we go. And then at the end of it, she reaches out and touches the stone.
Oh shit.
What you can gather from it, it is seemingly almost normal stone, except something has cast light on it on a repeated basis, and it's become permanent.
Okay.
So it's like a global, basically.
So
Glorified glow stick.
upon touching it, Celes goes, "Oh, well, that's good news." And she turns around and says, "The pearl we were sold works."
Yay!
So you're familiar with that torch you have that has no heat and gives off light?
I mean, that's like the extent of my knowledge about it, but if that's what you mean, then yes.
Yes. It seems like some kind of magical light, right?
Yeah.
That's what's going on with this rock.
That's definitely more portable than those torches.
Yes. Well, it's apparently been cast on this on a regular basis and often enough that it has become permanent.
So why lighting up some center of the forest?
Well, it is off the edge of the forest. Perhaps there's more nearby. And Celes just kind of like mentally calls to Luna and, telepathically says, because she's obviously within 100 feet, and she says, "Can you fly up in the air and see if you can see any other little pools or stations like this nearby?"
Maybe this is somebody's like religious icon.
Give me a perception check for Luna.
Will do. Bloop.
Nope.
Okay.
Does not find any additional ones.
And she asks Luna to just return to the horses for now. And she says, Luna's not seeing any other similar stations like this nearby. That's strange. Do we really need a stone with light cast on it? I feel somebody...
I do have the torches, so...
To the extent that the identify spell goes, you also know that it is very much bound to this location. So if you were to remove it from here, the spell would probably break.
Okay. She says, I believe it's bound to this location, so it... We could take it, but then it's a rock without light. So I think perhaps we move on. Maybe we'll find more explanation for why this is here. I mean, it's along the road, so...
Yeah, but maybe the locals will be polite enough to explain it.
If we run into any.
Yeah, if they will be polite.
If we run into any. And Celes steps back out of the water and proceeds to dry her feet off as best she can and puts her gauntlet back on her hand and says, I don't see anything else remarkable here short of a strange occurrence where somebody needed light in this area. Maybe we'll find more at the ruins. Maybe this was a marker.
Maybe your stinky feet have just desecrated their religious pool.
She just kind of nods her head and says, yes, well, let's hope it's not that one.
Okay, so you move on?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hop on the horse and giddy up.
And I don't know where we were. Probably on this one.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So you head back on the road and continue to travel northwards. And yeah, you eventually come out of the forest and kind of like see a bit up ahead, a couple more like rolling hills. And yeah, it's only a couple of clusters of forest here and there. And as you been a bit out of it and turn around, you can kind of notice that the forest you were in kind of like stretches pretty far inland. And yeah, so eventually it turns into kind of like the late afternoon. And you kind of then get close to on top of a small hill on the road and look down onto what you can see is a couple of clusters of houses. And yeah, from your current vantage point, some of them seem to be in a pretty bad state. And some of them on the side have kind of like been or kind of collapsed. And yeah, you figure you're kind of looking down on what seems to be Galea. And this is where we're gonna end it for today.
Okay. Thank you once again for
Okay.
the
Thanks,
episode.
Hellfire.
Thank you, players. Thank you, viewers. And thank you, Dungeon Master. And we shall see you all again soon. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.